Welcome, everybody. Good morning. It is Friday morning. That's right. And this is the Snobnation Wake Up Show. I hope you guys are having a great day so far. If you're up, if you're not up, wake up. It's time. I am your host, Mick Manhattan, as always, joined not by anyone right now, honestly, as you can tell. Casey is not here. He is awake. He's awake. I'll give him that. He had to attend to something at his everyday job, so we shall see. He said that he's going to be on as soon as he can. So we'll hold off, see what's going on. We're going to talk some news. We're going to talk some fun stuff. It's going to be a great time. So let's just enjoy it, shall we? You're stuck with me. Take a ride with me on this wonderful magic carpet ride where we're going to journey into absurdity and a lot more fun and laughs. Join in, of course, as always, write in the comments. We love to hear from you guys. And we love the interaction back and forth. I will tell you, we will be announcing the trivia game at 8:30. But I will show you the prize. The prize this Friday is a set of Funko Pops. There you go. Yeah, so set of Funko Pops, the Lucha Libre edition. It's pretty cool. You got 4 in there. One of them is a keychain. So if you are on, then you will win that. But yeah, so we're getting started. It's going to be pretty crazy times so far. You know, I'm kind of trying to stick my ear to the ground and kind of see what's coming up and things like that, and with the news. And you know, one thing that's really, well, first and foremost, let's say rest in peace David Crosby. You know, the man founded the Birds. Crosby, Young, Stills, and Nash. It's sad to see. He was 81 years old. Rest in peace, sir. You know, that we just found out about it yesterday. So there, and we are also going, it looks like, just had it up. There you go. Alec Baldwin. Let's talk about some Alec Baldwin, everybody. Okay, so as we know, he was shooting a movie called Rust last year. And he was handling a weapon, a 6-shooter, old style Western 6-shooter on set. He shot and he killed the director of photography, Helena Hutchins, and shot the director as well. So now that thing has all been kind of a convoluted craziness. We didn't know what really was going to happen. Everyone was sort of pointing fingers, but at the same time saying nobody was to blame. It was an accident. And, I'm not here to cast blame or say anything or doubt or anything like that. Just kind of talking about what's happening with it. And it looks like Alec Baldwin is going to be, or has been, charged with involuntary manslaughter, as well as Hannah Gutierrez, I believe her name is, who was the weapons wrangler on set. So they've both been charged with involuntary manslaughter. What that goes on to mean, where could that go? We have to wait and see. I don't know if this was a charge that Alec Baldwin knew was coming. I know he's been pretty adamant that he was not to blame for it. That he was holding the gun when it went off. He didn't fire it. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's not a funny matter, and I'm not laughing at that, but it's just like, where do we go from here? So this charge, I don't know if the lawyers had set it up and it was a part of a deal, or they are just officially charging him. And whether he'll see jail time or not, I am skeptical of that. With him being as big of a star as he is, I don't know that he will see jail time other than the charges and such. We'll see. Like, he'll probably get his bail. He'll probably plea out, and we'll see where it goes from there. Where Hannah, the gun wrangler, is concerned, she's not as big as a celebrity, and I hate to say that, but it's the truth. This country, this world just happens to do that, and we'll see how it works out for her as well. So we just got to stay tuned for it. But the charges are pretty crazy, and they make sense. They make sense, but it is it came really out of like quiet on this whole situation for such a long time. And then now it just seems like it's just opening up, and we're going to see a lot more happen with this. I'm really hoping that there will not be a long drawn out process in this and such, because I'd hate to see it, but yeah, it's just been crazy. So, but I'd love to hear what you guys think. What do you guys think about it? Should he be not just charged, but see jail time? Do you feel that he was primarily the one at fault in all of this? Let's hear what everybody says. Yes, involuntary manslaughter charge. Yep. What's up? How you doing, Wise? Sturdy, great morning to everyone from your black friend Sturdy, the greatest morning show. Thank you very much. Paul, what's going on, buddy? How you doing? Wise says, what's up? I'll join if you want. I might hold you to that, sir. I think Casey's going to be here soon, and I want to hold off for him, just to kind of see where he's at first. But maybe I'll throw you the link in a bit if you're up for it. All right, so let's continue on, see where we're kind of going with everything. So, there's some big trending news right now. So I think it was on TikTok or it was on Twitter or something. Jason Momoa was at the WB offices and he filmed himself, and he was talking about how 4 years ago he came in here to play this role, and within this time, and now it's more great news from Peter Safran and James Gunn, and he was thanking them, and it was going on. He was like super excited about it, which is leading fans to believe that he is, in fact, the rumors are true. He is now. When I say the rumors true, it's believed that these rumors are true. These long-time rumors that he could become Lobo in the new DCU Studios movies that are being kind of put together by Peter Safran and James Gunn. I will tell you, and I remember when he got Aquaman, and people were like, we like him, whatever, we dig it. It's a cool look, it's different. But they were all like, yeah, I remember fans talking about it, fan casting things like, oh, he'd be better as Lobo, he'd be better as Lobo. No disagreement here. And I think it really worked out. Like, he does fit the Lobo mold. And I think because he's so like, I don't want to say just like, he's very jocular type of dude. He's a type of guy who just seems like he's really just a lot of fun to be around. Now I know these aren't traits of Lobo, but it seems like that type of demeanor could fit well with Lobo, and that his not just the look. So I think like he has the personality to play Lobo as well. And if anybody's going to pull off Lobo in DC, because if you told me Zack Snyder was trying it or other people were trying it, it's tough. It's tough. It's such a line. He's such an eccentric character that is, he's just so out there, that what it really comes down to. He's so out there and so crazy that you really, as a filmmaker, I think you really need to find somebody who can figure it out and really make something good, like a world built around this character in a movie. The reason I say that is, especially with DC filmmakers, people who made movies in DC, it's been very hard for them to figure out the main characters. Like, I feel like Batman's down. We can get Batman down. Batman works, whatever. But even then, there's always like, Ben Affleck's Batman was too different for other fans of Batman. Christopher Nolan's Batman was too different for some others, and this, that, and the other thing, if you guys see what I'm saying. But, they've had problems in the past with other characters. They can never get Green Lantern off the ground in the right way. The Flash worked and didn't work. He works more on the TV series, I think, than he does in the movies. But I've always been skeptical of the Flash character in the movies. Stuff like that. Like, they're not landing. Wonder Woman did a good job in the first one. The second one, it was just like, what did you do? Like, why did you take this character? Why did we go here with her? so like they don't always get these characters right. It's very much the antithesis of Marvel. If anything, I think Marvel not only gets these characters right, they take them in even better directions than some of these classic storylines. And I wish DC could figure that out, and I'm hoping with James Gunn they will, because I really, with what he does with outcast side characters, I think he can make Lobo like a big name in DC. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what everybody's saying. All right. Oh, excuse me. Sturdy. That is a tough one, because I don't know what the rules are on set when it comes to weapons, but someone should be held responsible for that. I think everybody who touched that gun, and this is just me speaking from personal experience of being on a set, and having been a crew member on multiple sets, and having been a crew member on multiple sets where weapons were involved, all different types. It's a situation where it should have never happened. It should have never happened. Period. Dot. That's it. You can say accidents, you can say this, that, and the other thing. It should have never happened. With that being said, it doesn't happen as much as people likely lead you to believe when situations like this occur. I mean, we saw, like, after this happened, people were comparing it to Brandon Lee. Tragic, both insanely tragic, insanely sad. I feel for the victims. It's so, and their families and everything else. But thankfully, it doesn't happen that often on set. Thankfully, but again, it should never happen. This woman should still be alive. That's period. Dot. That's what it like. So for it to get to this point, someone messed up. Someone just did not do something right. But with that also being said, no matter who you think that is in the process, whoever handled that weapon at any point, it should have always been checked. It should never get to the actor and just hand it to the actor and they go. Never in a million years. Especially with a live weapon that can fire blanks or whatever. It still fires. It's not a dummy gun. So anybody who should have held that gun, you should be doing these. We have so many safety precautions, and they do for guns as well. And that's why this is few and far between where it happens. But there's so many safety regulations you have to take. But there's so many things you can circumvent when you're on a set, and like certain safety things, especially the more power you have going on. So when you see this, I don't know, should everybody be going to jail or anything? I don't know. I'm not the law. I'm not trying to figure that out. What I'm saying is this should have never happened, and everyone who touched that weapon, and you can say you checked it all day long, but clearly it was not checked, or this wouldn't have happened, but is responsible, in my opinion. Now, why does it fall on Hannah and Alec Baldwin? Because he fired it. He squeezed the trigger. And that fact of the matter is, you're at a party, somebody throws you a gun. If it goes off and you never touch the trigger, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. But if you actually squeezed it without checking it or anything else, that there's got to be some blame there. And she was the weapons wrangler. She was in charge of these. So from it getting, no matter how many hands it touched, which still, in my opinion, is still responsible in some way or form, those were the two that were, the most. I mean, clearly they brought charges against them. So, I hope he plays a better Lobo than he did Aquaman. I think he is an awesome guy, but in my opinion, not a good lead actor. I think he could be a good lead actor with the right roles, and Aquaman was not one of them. Jason Momoa, I think, could pull off leader in the same way that, like, you see a Vin Diesel play, plays lead, or In the same way, a lot of those big, more brutish, tough guys. But the difference being, Jason Momoa has a lot of fun personality to him. He walks in and he's on the screen and he's livening things up. He's not boring, which is fun. Like, I like Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious movies. He was fine in Triple X movies, but he's Vin Diesel and everything. It's boring. It is. I'm sorry. And it's just not my cup of tea. He works in those settings. It's like The Rock too. The Rock works in certain settings, and they call Rock the biggest movie star, and he is. But could he pull off something that required, I'm trying not to be insulting. Could he pull off something that required him to really dig deep down and act, not just be The Rock playing a character? I don't think he could, but I think Jason Momoa could. Batman shouldn't be difficult. Only one director really screwed it up. I would like to know your take on that. Which director? Well, I mean, are you talking about Joel Schumacher? You're talking about Joel Schumacher. You have to be talking about Joel Schumacher. I agree with you on that, Mick. Check more than you need to. Yeah, exactly. If you have to check a gun 100 times, especially if it's being pointed, at somebody, and now, yes, I understand he's supposed to be looking at the camera, but it's pointing. There's people behind that camera, clearly. Yeah, I figured Mick Schumacher. Although Lost Boys was awesome. Lots of stuff was awesome by Schumacher. Flatliners, I love. He did tons of great movies. I see what you're saying, Mick. The Rock is himself in movies. He is, and here's the thing: like, that's not new. That's not new. We've had movie stars who became themselves. There's a famous quote by John Wayne, where he was explaining, he's like, people don't pay to go see me act; they go to see John Wayne, and that's why I'm the same guy. And he was at least honest about it. And like, there's a lot of faults to John Wayne, but at least he was honest in this situation where he's saying, and it was funny because like he was talking about it, he was like, all these other movies were like, I was really trying to act, and really like trying to be this character, try to be this, and he was like, I can state some movies where it's like, that's not John Wayne. That was a great acting job. But he realized by a certain point, he's the number one movie star, and people don't like him being somebody different. They want him just to be John Wayne, do a Western, do this, do that. To the point where even he got bored of it in the 70s, and he was trying to remake Dirty Harry with like McHugh and Brannigan and stuff like that. Like, so like he was trying to do the acting and change it up, but I think once somebody like The Rock who's limited in acting, and why is he limited in acting? He's limited in acting because, like, let's be real. Let's be real about The Rock's career. When he started out, he was trying. When he started out, he like had a different look. He and I'm not saying that he had the best roles, but this is a dude who was breaking into the industry from a wrestling standpoint. Hulk Hogan was in movies because Hulk Hogan was a phenom. He was huge. He was everywhere. So it was only natural to take him and put him in movies. No lick of acting sense whatsoever. He's terrible at it, and he knew that. He was a wrestler turned actor, and he was really one of the first ones to actually break out doing it. And then you fast forward, like, it's not a stretch that wrestlers act, because they are performers, and I'm trying to be as respectful as possible because I truly respect the craft when it comes to professional wrestling. The things they do, it's not fake. I would never call wrestling fake, because the things they do, you can call it choreographed, call it this, that, and the other thing. I say they're performing, they're stuntmen, they put it together, and they do great work day in and day out, and they abuse their bodies. Now, from the character standpoint, the kayfabe, whatever you want to call it, they're actors. They are actors in that sense. I would not call their in-ring performances an act so much, because they really are out there, and they're calling it sometimes when they're out in the ring, what they're going to do next. and on the fly, that's just amazing work. Now, however, when it comes to the characters and things like that, they're acting. So it is not a stretch by any imagination that they would become actors. But The Rock being the biggest movie star does not mean he is the greatest actor, because he is not good at it. He was good in Southland Tales. I thought he did a great acting job in that. Even in the game plan, like, it's a Disney movie, but he's doing a good job. You can tell he's really trying. Get Smart. Those smaller roles, like, it felt like he was like really trying to act. And here's, for me, what I noticed. Like, he slimmed down. He took off some of the muscle. He was trying to look more like a leading man, and he was getting these roles, and it was fine, but it just wasn't working as well for him. I don't think it wasn't for him. I don't think it was like what he wanted. I think he just driven. He wanted to be the biggest movie star on the planet. So he smartly, he did a movie called Pain and Gain, where he acted great. He did a great job in that movie. It was really well done. He did a movie called Pain and Gain. He gained back all the muscle. He became this huge, like, jacked character again, persona, I should say. And he pushed forth with it. And I don't think he wanted to lose the weight again. I don't think he wanted to get back to that look. I think he liked being ripped. I think he liked being big. So he had to change it up a little bit. And now it became, okay, people really are starting to take to me. People are really starting to take to The Rock being an actor, likable type of character. So he's going to become this personality, not so much an actor. So, and now, why do I go this far in depth into The Rock? Because somebody like Batista, who's jacked character, but he plays these roles like he's going after these roles, and you tell he's taking acting classes. You can tell, like, he is an actor. I don't know that he'll ever be a huge movie star. He is a movie star, but he is not on the same level as The Rock. But he does have a star that's climbing. But I can see Batista being the first out of all the wrestlers turned actors to win a major award. I will say that. Hot on his heels is John Cena. Say what you will, whether you like him or not. The dude turned around. I think he was trying to use The Rock's formula to get into acting. So he was trying to really use that formula, and it wasn't working for him, because I think too many people were comparing him, and with the storylines of him and The Rock during wrestling days and their WrestleMania runs and stuff like that. It was just one of those things that I think it took too much out of him. From his name, away from his name. It's like you're trying to be too much like The Rock. And I think he started acting, he started doing comedy, so he was really good in it. And now he's become quite a better actor. And it's funny because now he's starting to, like, do the slim down with the muscle definition and such, and become more leading man. But I think he has a better chance because he's a better actor, for sure. And that's because he's built it up, not just the Peacemaker, not Peacemaker show or things like that. Like, he did a movie recently, I cannot think of the name of it, but his character is running for president. And he produced it, and he was a big part of how it got made, and he was not the star of it, but he was a major component in it. And I think he just did a fantastic job. Like, he showed his acting chops, and I think he's looking at it and he's like, I could either go the way of The Rock or I can go the way of Batista. And I think he sees going the way of Batista is a smarter bet, because you can live a movie star life, but sooner or later people are going to try to tear you down. But, like, how many actors, like real actors, have you seen people trying to tear down? Like, not the famous, like, the people who are really going at it. Like, so I think that's just kind of where it's at. That's my personal opinion. I'd love to hear what you guys think, though. He is someone we all love, men and women. I mean, I like The Rock a lot, and I think he's great when he's with Kevin Hart. And there's something to be said for that. Like, it's almost like those comedy duos of, like, Martin and Lewis, or Abbott and Costello, or Manhattan and Plot. No, I'm just kidding. Things like that, like the real, and not us, the real duos and stuff like that. I think he and Kevin Hart are right now. I'm kind of glad they're taking a little bit of a break. I think it's smart, and then get back into it and start doing more. You take those little breaks and then, let the wave ride out. Don't let people get fatigued, but keep doing those. People love them when you guys pop up together. They think you're funny. What are your feelings on David Arquette, actor? Fine. I think he catches a lot of crap for oh, excuse me. He catches a lot of crap for a lot of decisions he's made, but he's a good actor. He's a lot of fun. Um, Even in as far as close as the last Scream movie, um, Dewey was such a great character in that. And I love where Dewey went. And and we're gonna get into Scream. Trust me, we have plenty to talk about there. But turn my fan on. It's a little warm. So, and I think with him, David Arquette, he's got I think he seems to have a lot of demons, and I'm not going to comment on that because I don't want to shut anybody down or anything like that. I like him as an actor. As a wrestler, I don't know him well enough as a wrestler. I know he's really trying. I think it really gets to him that whole story angle where he won the belt, because it was for the world of wrestling a disgraceful moment for him to ever win that belt. And I think he knows that, but it's not his fault in any way, shape, or form. And I'm telling you right now, if somebody came to me and was like, "You're going to win the belt tonight," okay, the wrestling heavyweight championship, yeah, I'm in. I want to join that lineage, whether they hate me or not. And I don't think anybody hated him, but I think that weighed on him. I think it weighed on him that he's a fan. He's a fan of wrestling. He really wanted to be a part of it. And Ready to Rumble, as dumb as it is, I love that movie. It's a comfort movie for me. It's one of those things you can watch and you're like, this is dumb, but I love it. It's the most outrageous things about wrestling. It's the same reason people still talk about No Holds Barred and stuff like that. Could you tell we had a wrestling podcast on the Scene Snobs channel a long time ago? So we, when it comes to David Arquette, I would not call him a wrestler turned actor. He was, of course, an actor way before, but I just think when it comes to the wrestling thing, he's got some demons going on there, and whatever. I hope he doesn't hurt himself, but if he's enjoying what he's doing, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Dale, what's up, buddy? Morning. How you doing? Casey's probably going to be late. He is awake. He is awake. I will say that. But we will, he's got some work function things he's got to do real quick. So hopefully he'll be on a little bit. So you're stuck with me. Kind of getting into it a little bit more. Anything else you guys want to talk about? If not, I'm kind of cruising along. So we talked about Alec Baldwin and what was going on there. So, I did want to, I was hoping Casey would be here for this, but I'd love to talk to you guys about this as well. The Prince Harry and Meghan Markle debacle. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but man, people, does it feel like everybody just turned on them? Does it feel like everybody was just kind of like, all right, enough. I don't know what their main motivation for everything is. I don't know whether it's to stay in the spotlight, be relevant. I don't know whether it's to tear the family down. It could be anything. Really. I don't know if they're just doing it because they need the money, because now they're not, a part of that royal world anymore. But what happened to Harry to this point? Like, he never seemed like he was out of sorts. He always seemed like he was more of a black sheep, if that makes sense. Like he kind of went off, did his own thing. He didn't really follow in the ways of like William did and stuff like that. But he always felt like he was like kind of in line. Like he loved his family and that was it. I'm not getting that feeling anymore. This dude just kind of checked out, and he is like taking him for the ride. I wrote his memoir and everything. Like, come on, man. Like that's just, it's getting ridiculous. But they are talking about how much money they've been making, and they've made an astronomical sum. So awesome. Parts of the royal family went out again. I love it. Love to hear what you guys would think about it. Let me know. Let's kind of continue on, see what we got going on. Oh God, what is this? Flying high, alleged Buffalo Wild Wings bandit goes on fire extinguisher rampage at Atlanta Airport. Oh, I mean, everybody I'm sure is okay. That's kind of funny. Jason, what's up, buddy? How you doing, pal? Yeah, guys, so we're having a good time. I am solo for now. As you know, I'm waiting on Casey's doing some work. He said he's probably going to be in a little bit later, but who knows? So you may get me for 3 hours. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. So we're just kind of covering over the news, talking about different things that are going on. I got to tell you, oh my God, did you hear about Julian Sands? Now, if you don't know who Julian Sands is an actor. He was in tons of stuff. He was in Arachnophobia. He was in Arachnophobia. He was in the Warlock movies. He was the bad guy in the Warlock movies. He was in he played Jor-El in Smallville too. It was a pretty good episode too. So Julian Sands, kind of famous actor. I mean, if you look back, you'll know who he is. He's missing. He's missing. It's insane. Yeah, he was hiking in the North Carolina. Okay, I would think I would host a radio show. Where is it? He went missing in. Trying to find out exactly where. The mountains, San Gabriel Mountains in California. So it's in the LA area. It's like San Bernardino County area. Yeah, he's gone. They don't know where he is. He went hiking with a friend and they haven't been heard from. So like people are really searching for him. So prayers to him. Hopefully he and whoever is with it are okay and they'll find a way out. But it's been like 3 days or something like that. It's been pretty crazy. There's 65 too. Wow. So, oh wow, he was last seen on January 13th. Oh, he's a week, not a few days. He's been a week gone. Oh man, that's scary. So, well, I hope they find him alive and well, and going on onwards and upwards. All right. Oh, driving me nuts. Rami Malek in talks to play Buster Keaton in Matt Reeves produced series. Really? I guess the eyes work. I don't know. Hope they find him safe. Found him safe. Yeah, I haven't. It doesn't seem like they have yet, but hopefully they do. Okay. Oh, did you hear about this kid? So I don't know how many people watch Wednesday. Probably everybody because it was like the number one show for a while. Came out in November, and people are still like raving about it, and for good cause. I watched it. It's a really good show. I had a lot of fun with it. Jenna Ortega is going to be a scream queen, and I don't even think she's like 20 yet. How old is she? She's in like everything, man. She's killing it. Good for her, dude. Oh, she is 20. She just turned 20. So, Jesus Christ. She was born in 2002. She was born exactly 20 years after me. God, I'm so old. Where does the time go? The rest of this time is just going to be me sulking about how old I am. I don't like it. Let's look at her. I'll look at her filmography real quick and talk about the horror side of it. Come on. What are you doing? Get out of here, you. I want to see the actor side. All right. So I would count Wednesday in the horror camp. X, of course. Studio 666. Scream, she was in last year. Babysitter Killer Queen. She was in You, which I would count as a horror show. It's serial killer, but it's definitely has thriller horror tones to it. Yeah, I mean, she went all in, like she was like Disney girl. One of those type, like on the TV shows and stuff like that. And she did some fun stuff. but she went wholehearted into horror. She was like, "Yeah, I'm doing this," and she's killing it. So good for her, man. But yeah, so Wednesday, I forgot my complete train of thought because I started looking at her thing. So the kid from Wednesday, Jenna Ortega, is amazing. Mick, did you finish Bloody Christmas yet? I have not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have. Listen, man, I'm gonna give you that's. I haven't done a movie review in a while. I've been so freaking busy. Excuse me, with everything. My work days have now become like 10 hours a day straight every day. And, I take Saturdays off as we've talked, but like doing this, like it's a lot. It's crazy. I'm always either filming or I'm editing or I'm doing graphic designs or something. And listen, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. But I haven't even really been able to get out to the movie theater. I bought an Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania ticket, but I haven't had a chance to get out to see any. I don't even know. I have to look, and I will find out what's out this weekend with you in a little while, second hour. But yeah, for now, like, yeah, I haven't been able to stop or do anything. It's been just insane. So Bloody Christmas is on the back burner for right now. I hope I will get the chance to check it out, though. Mick will return to reviewing. No, Mick will return to reviewing way before we do Scream 6. That's in March, dude. And maybe I'll let you come on and review it with me because you're a Scream cuck and I need a true review. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Scream a little bit. Okay. Let me play the trailer for you. And then let's talk about it. How's that sound, everybody? So, pull up the official trailer. All right, hold on one sec. So, yeah, we're going to play the official trailer, and then we're going to talk about it. All right. Because I do have thoughts. And listen, at the end of the day, it could be anything, but like legit, my thoughts are valid and everybody else's is just kidding. All right, let me full screen this. I like the dude complained about the line. Okay, they said it was going to be gorier.
I had this secret. There's a darkness inside of me. It followed me here. And it's gonna keep coming for us.
Uh-oh.
We share a certain history. This isn't like any other Ghostface.
What is this place?
A shrine. We've got to lure him in. We execute him.
Hello.
Let's play a game.
You know you're like the 10th guy to try this, right? It never works out for the dipshit in the mask.
Maybe.
That was a cool shot.
But there's never been one like me, Gail. Something different.
That's why I'm gonna shoot you in the head.
I think she says the F word there.
You want me.
Yeah.
So let's finish this.
Yeah.
Guys?
I am going to be honest. I'm not too excited for it. And it's not. Like, listen, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun movie. It's going to have the things in horror that most horror fans just want to see, and me included. It's going to have the kills. It's going to have some witty dialogue to it. It's going to take it to a fantastical place, and now in New York City. So there will be some interesting things and elements to be added to there. But I don't care that you take Scream or take it out of its element and go to a city or something like that. I just want it to be believable. And there's a lot of things that were kind of unbelievable in this franchise. Yeah, I'm with you, Sturdy. I'm not impressed by it, but like I'm gonna go see it. And this is the trailer I'm talking about, everybody. I'm not talking about the movie. When I see the movie, I will review the movie. But as far as the trailer goes and how it makes me feel and brings me into it, I'm not overly impressed. I was hoping to, because I liked the last one. I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun to bring some new people into it and stuff like that, and kind of its ties to the original. But yeah, for me, it was just one of those things where it's like it's fun. But it's like, how far are you going to go with this? And now you're bringing back Hayden Panettiere's character, who, I'm sorry, she wasn't as interesting. Like, is she the new Nev Campbell? Like, is she the new Sydney in all of this? So we're going to see. We're going to see how they do. And now, like I said, that's based on the trailer. I want to see what happens going into the movie. I am going to tell you now, I'm calling it now. It's not going to be Stu. In fact, I'm going to call it on this show now. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I've only seen the trailer. I think it's going to be Dylan McDermott or Dylan Mulroney, whichever Dylan that was, in the movie. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the killer. And he's going to have a connection to that. No, Sam is the new Sydney. No. Because you're comparing it to Sydney from the first movie. Sydney is not who she was in the first movie. Sydney now not being in it would make Hayden Panettiere the new Sydney. One who's been through this before. She has ties to it. Gail, of course, is Gail. I think she's going to die. I mean, it only makes sense with David Arquette gone. So I think she's done. There's Gail with no Dewey. Like in this series, it doesn't make sense. And it just doesn't work in my opinion. But Sam is just another final girl. And I think Jenna Ortega is better in the role anyway. Like I think Jenna Ortega would have been better as the final girl. So, but yeah, that's just my feelings on it. I'm just not super excited for it based on the trailer. Sam went through it in the last movie. Dude, I know what you're saying. But I'm not comparing. I love you, Jason, and I can't wait for this review because it's going to be a nightmare. We could both love the movie. It's still going to be a nightmare because we disagree fundamentally on certain things. Jen is going to shift to the front. It's the smartest move. She's the biggest star in the movie right now. Right now, she is the main draw. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. But we'll see what happens. We can only go so far. This is going to be a tricky thing to maneuver because now you've moved Scream out of its element. They did that other times. They've done that with other horror icons. And don't just say Jason going to Manhattan. I'm talking about space. I'm talking about all these different things. And when you get there, when you tend to do that in your movie franchise, you either freshen it up and it's something new and something everybody can be excited about, or it's jumping the shark and everybody's pissed. because they're going to talk about the new rules. So that means they've made major changes to the character type. So we're going to see what happens. Yeah, Wednesday is going to absolutely help her with movies popularity. Jenna is a star now. Yeah, that's how it works. So I have no doubt she'll probably take over, as she should. Kill off the sister, who's I think related to Billy, and bring it back to small town or something like that. I don't think the city element's going to work. I think it's going to be cool, but I don't think it's going to work. Like, and again, I'm not against movies trying something different. I like how you do. That is the biggest way to say F you. I disagree with you. Is just love you, buddy. Like we can disagree. I'm not even against the movie. I'm just saying the trailer has left me kind of like, I wish for more. Even like the last set of trailers that came out for the last movie that came out last year, there's a little more intrigue to it. There's a little more mystery. Like, why is this happening? How is this girl tied into it? What's going on? They're not showing me in these trailers. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So I'm going to check out the movie. I'm excited for it. I've checked out every Scream movie. I watch every Scream movie. I like them. So I'll see what happens. I'll give it a fair shot. Absolutely, film is subjective. I get it. Stop saying F you in ways that make you sound heroic, you jerk. That's basically what you're doing, buddy. All right. But Wednesday has caught some controversy. The actor, whom I do not know his name, I'm going to look it up right now. I was reading the news this morning before the show, just trying to get Percy Hines White. He played Xavier Thorpe on Wednesday. He played like the long-haired guy she thinks is the monster throughout the entire thing. He has some controversy. I guess there were rape allegations, not against him. I don't think that it happened at his house, from what I read, when he was younger, and he knew about it and he did nothing, and nothing came of it. And now women are calling him out, but he's also, I think he likes to send a lot of, based on what I've seen, dick pics, for lack of a better term. So it right now we'll see if he comes back. Xavier might not be back for season 2. I can't wait to review this. Hopefully I'll get some Scream fans on it. No, don't bring Jason. I don't need any more FUs. Just kidding, of course. I think you guys would work well together. All right, let's see what the next. Oh, so I'm excited for it. I want to know what you guys think. They're making a 4th Beverly Hills Cop movie. So that's nothing new. They've been talking about that for a while. Eddie Murphy recently came out and was during an interview just kind of talking about what brought him back to it. And, let me the thing real quick. Yeah. So there's going to be a 4th Beverly Hills Cop movie. Basically, everybody's coming back for it. Eddie Murphy. I don't think Ronnie Cox is, but Judge Reinhold, Paul Reiser, Bronson Pinchot, John Ashton, who played Taggart, are all coming back. Hopefully, they get Bogomil. You gotta get my man Ronnie Cox back in there. Knock that stuff off. No one wants dick pics. They are grids. You want dick pics. You know it. Shut up. I'm not sending them to you. Stop asking. Just kidding, Jason. I'm excited about BH4. I hope it's better than Coming to America. I didn't mind Coming to America. Coming to America made me laugh. And that's like, is it as funny as the first one? No, but it's just there's some things you're never gonna touch. But yeah, it also Beverly Hills Cop 4 also has Kevin Bacon attached to it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm in, man. I'm excited. I love the first 2 Beverly Hills Cop. Third one is the third one. It is what it is. Number 2 is my favorite. I love Tony Scott's look to it. And I just think it's a better movie. I think you're already setting yourself into it. So much of what Axel Foley is known for, his look, his feel, the laugh, everything else really was mostly a part of the second one. You know, when you think of Axel Foley, you think for a second, you tell me you don't see the varsity jacket, the Detroit Lions varsity jacket. You're lying if you don't. And he never wore that in the first one. There was never a point where he wore that. He wore a sweatshirt the entire time. So, when you think about like the side characters and things like that, I bet you think about the second one more than you do the first. I love the first. The first is hilarious. It's so much fun. It's great. It really is. But it's not. I just don't think it's as good. I think they went more blockbuster with the second one, and it worked better. It was just done at the right times, and I think that about quite a few movies. Especially in the action genre. And we can get into that another time, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. But Bronson Pinchot was only in the first and the third one. He wasn't in the second one, but and he kind of got famous off of that, besides Perfect Strangers. But I think that was like his first role into it, and then he got Perfect Strangers. So that was it's going to be good to see him come back. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm going to watch it, but I honestly only really love 1, 2, and 3 were okay. I disagree, man. I disagree hardcore. I think 2 is better. I think 2 is best. I agree with you about 3. 1 is amazing. One is fantastic, and he does an amazing job in it. But like I said, 2, I just think is better look, better feel, just better everything. Personally, and Tony Scott is a big reason for that. BH2 is one of the best sequels of all time, easily. I agree. There you go, Jason. We agreed on something. It was definitely something. Okay, guys, coming up on 8 o'clock hour. Hopefully Casey will be joining soon enough. I don't know if Wise is still here. I might. Wise, if you're still here, sound off, buddy. Let me know what you think. Hopefully we'll see, because I don't want to do 3 hours by myself. Get tired very easily. Talk a lot. This playoff weekend, everybody. Divisional weekend. Who you got? Who's the big ones that you're looking forward to going forward? Because I know my Giants are in it, and I'm still excited. All day, every day. Oh no. No. Oh, thank God. I hate reading the news. Oh man. Tom Baker was trending. Now, if you guys know anything about me, I'm Doctor Who fan. Like, I love Doctor Who. And Tom Baker is the 4th Doctor. Probably Tennant may have etched him out as the most favorite Doctor, but Tom Baker, for true Whovians that aren't just for the new show, which is fine too, and I don't mind that. My wife that's more her speed. But for true Whovians who are from the beginning, or have gone back to rewatch and such, Tom Baker is he was the quintessential. He was the Doctor that really made the impression of who the Doctor is, even going forward from there. So it's his birthday today. Happy birthday. He's 89, but he was trending. I'm like, no, do not kill him all. Please don't take him right now. But yes, no, it's his birthday. So happy birthday, Tom. Bring Dale on so we can all hear his voice. We're going to do that because it's just going to be an ASMR of Dan. I'm just going to leave him on, and he's just going to have to talk. He's just going to have to talk in low tones, low and sexy tones. It'll be our Valentine's Day gift to all of you. Let's go 49ers. Let's go 49ers this weekend. Take somebody out, but you know what sucks? I'm a Giants fan, lifelong Giants fan. I'm super excited for it. Can't wait to see what happens. But they're playing the Eagles, whom, as a Giants fan, you're kind of bred to hate. I don't hate the Eagles, but they're not my favorite, and this is not. But they are the best team in the NFL right now, so this is kind of terrifying. But my son is an Eagles fan. And he is a legit Eagles fan. He learns about them. He reads up on them. He knows everything that's going on. He's in it. And he's a real fan. Now, I grew up in a house very much that was like, if you're not a fan of this, get out of the house. I don't do that with him. He wants to be an Eagles fan. Go for it. I will support you. I bought him Eagles jersey, a jacket, hat, things like that. Here's the thing. Here's my problem with it. He is a little bit of a crap talker. And when I say a little bit, I mean a lot. He has been hounding me not only all season, but this week has been horrifying with the things he said. Like, I almost want to cry. That's how harsh he is with the things he says. I understand you have the best team in the NFL, and I hate you for it. But no, but like, he's just been crap talking the entire time. And I don't like it. It's just not fun. Dale says, level out, bless. I'm driving to the office right now, so I am away from the computer, away from keyboard rather. And go Birds. Yay, Mick, son. Dale, how dare you? How dare you be an Eagles fan? How could you do this to us? Why? Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm a Giants fan. I'm a little worried about this weekend. But regardless, they got through the wild card. I'm happy for that. So if they don't make it, they don't make it. Okay, we're approaching the 8 o'clock hour, everybody. So why don't we do some weather? How's that? And today I picked out weather from Portland, Maine. Okay, so here we go. We have a high of 30 degrees with some precipitation, 94%, and that is snow. Snow continues to impact the area today. Sorry. Snow continues to impact the area today. Most of the heavy snow should be end by sunrise, with light snow continuing on and off through much of the day, with additional light accumulations expected. Winter storm weather remains in effect until 7 p.m. Eastern this evening. Yeah, wow. Additional snow accumulations between 1 to 3 inches for a storm total of 5 to 9 inches. That's what she said. Portions of the southwest and western Maine, portions of central and northern New Hampshire until 7 p.m. Eastern this evening. Man, you guys are getting hit. Although the heaviest will end early this morning, additional accumulations continue to impact travel throughout the day. Just want to say to all of our friends up in the Portland, Maine area and Maine in general, please stay safe in this storm. Stay safe when traveling. Your Saturday is going to be high of 33, partly cloudy. And your Sunday as well, but with a high of 36. But then you'll see some more snow and rain on Monday and throughout the rest of the week. But such is Maine in a time of winter. So hopefully you guys are staying safe. Stay bundled. Get your food all indoors and just have a general good time. All right, everybody. Let's see what we say. Long as the Cowboys lose, right, everyone? That's true. I agree. Damn right, Dale. I hope my 49ers destroy them. I'm for the 49ers beating the Cowboys. I'm okay with that. I would not mind seeing that. I am tired of thy Cowboys. But whatever. If you love them, good for you. I appreciate you. All right. So where do we go from here? See, it's a lot easier when you got two people. I guess Wise left. It was like, I'm not helping. All right. So let's see what else is going on in the news, shall we? A lot of Alec Baldwin. We talked about him in the first hour. And Joe Biden, man. All right. I am not one to get political, and I'm not going to hear, but I am going to say this. I am tired of politicians. I don't think that's any stretch of the imagination. I can't stand any of them anymore. I'm so tired of Biden and this BS, and I'm tired of the parties picking people who suck. Ugh, it's annoying. Um, let's see. Terror cops arrest a man as a bomb squad specialist in blast suits descend on a major hospital as patients are evacuated. That was in the UK. Jesus, some craziness. I love UK news because UK news is primarily, it's such a weird way, a tabloid. I'm looking at the Mirror. I know that's not the only one. There's plenty out there, but they really do love their tabloids out there. Like they're legit crazy. They love the sex romp stuff of it and things like that. It's nuts. I wish it was off today. I'd love to join and put color on the morning show. Ah, you son of a gun. Just stop that right now. Be quiet, sir. Add color to the morning show. Oh, it's because my shirt's gray. Wow. Regal Cinemas closing 39 locations across the U.S. following bankruptcy. Yeah, there's a few people. Party City's filing for bankruptcy too, as well. I don't know where the theaters are going to be. Oh, here they are. We got them. Anchorage, Alaska. Well, that's not good. Do they have anything else? Costa Mesa, California. Berkeley, California. El Cajon, California. All of these are in California. Littleton, Colorado. Sentinel, Colorado. Boca Raton, Florida. Miami, Florida. Kona, Hawaii. Bolingbrook, Illinois. Oh, the Rockville, Maryland one is going. Oh, okay, good. It's safe. I was looking at the ones in New Jersey I went to as a kid. Don't get rid of the Manassas one. Don't do it. Don't die. No. Okay, good. So we're good. Manassas one's still safe. I like the Regal. The Regal has weird events that I just enjoy. They're just good times. So I kind of get into it. Chris is here. What's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy? You were missing Casey today. He's got some work he's doing at the moment. Dale's all about it. Dale's like, hey man, go Cowboys. No, he's laughing at Sturdy's colorful remark. You jerk. All right, so let's see what else we got moving along, moving and shaking. I don't like to. A lot of times I get tripped up, and the reason being is, if you saw my setup, I have an entire Chrome, all my Chrome tabs set up, and it's all the news that I go through, and then I list through and I go through like what I kind of want to touch down on. But you ever realize like how you get through a show, and I know some of you know this for sure. You're kind of going through a show and you're just like, I just don't feel like talking about that. I feel like it's going to bring me down, So I'm like, I don't know if I want to get there. We'll see what happens. I can't believe the award shows are coming up so big, so strong lately. I did not watch the Golden Globes. Yep, Tron 3 is in development. Tron 3 is in development with Jared Leto. Ask me about a movie that I'm not excited about. Again, I will watch it. I will give it a fair shake, but I'm just not excited for it. That second Tron movie was good. First Tron movie was good. I didn't get blown away by it. Like the technology side of it, I get it. But I wasn't blown away by it. But the problem is, I think that's taken me away from this one compared to the others, because this is called Tron Ares. I think it's going to be a little bit different. Is you're going to walk away. You're not going to have the characters that were in the second one. You're not going to have that element of family in it. And I honestly, I'm just like, what's the connection? Why do I care? Tell me why I have to care. Someone has to bring color to the show. Shut up. I love you, buddy. Yeah, so like they're moving forward with it. It's when they did the second one, I was like, all right, they're revisiting the first one. I don't know that we needed it, but they did it. And it was like, okay, it's pretty good. Not bad. The third one, I just don't feel like we need it. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't know. What do you guys think, though? So I don't know. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Let's see what else we have going on here. On hither and upwards. I still have to see what Avatar Way of the Water. We're talking about it's funny, we're talking about movies and kind of like where we're going with them and stuff like that. And it's just one of those things where I don't want to sit in a theater for that long. I understand it's beautiful in the theater. I understand it looks great, but I just don't want to sit in the theater that long. Like 3 hours a day sitting in this chair is a lot, sitting in a movie theater for like 3.5 hours. Oof, that's going to hit hard, man. And I don't have it in me to do that. This past year, 2022, it just all the movies felt long. All the movies that like were long and didn't need to be felt long. And a movie should never feel long. And I don't think I'm alone. I'm not preaching. I'm preaching to the choir, I should say here. To me, it's like, why, if I'm watching your movie, and I know you guys know this as cinema fans and stuff, but I'm going to talk about it anyway, because it's my show and it's 8:07 and I still have to go till 10. So join me, if you will, on this magic carpet ride. It's, if I'm watching a movie and it's long, like say 2.5 hours, something like that, and it feels like that, like if I'm pausing it to see how much time or checking the time and stuff like that, you have messed up somewhere, because it shouldn't be like that. Nobody should ever feel the time. And that's why I think certain movies that stick out, and I'm using 2022 mostly in this, but it's more along the lines of when you're, how do you say, it's more along the lines of, I don't know. It's just it's this feeling of like when you see a movie and it really sparks and you can watch it over and over again. It doesn't matter how long it is. And like, listen, Infinity War is like 2.5 hours. I think Endgame is almost like 3 hours. And I can watch those over and over again with no problem. So it's not the length of the movie. Those are movies that I can keep revisiting. I'll never watch Titanic again. And not that I think it's a bad movie by any means. I don't. I think they did a great job with it. But it's so long. I'm like, I don't care. I feel it when I watch that. Avatar, I felt it when I watched that. I know I'm going to feel it with the second one. I'm going to be like, this is beautiful. And it's a cool story. And it's fine. But it's long. So I don't want to go sit in a theater for it. And I think that's part of the reason for me when I don't go see the really long stuff in the movie theaters, knowing I love theaters, by the way. I love theaters and everybody should get out. And I do get out to them when I can. But it does. Your experience affects your review. I don't care what anybody says. From the time you walk into that theater and you sit down, and I think if you're going to be a movie reviewer, it should be by the time you open that door to the theater and you walk in. Never before. If you had a crappy time driving there, or you ate a terrible meal early on and like you're going to the movie now, and none of that should affect your review. But when you step into that theater, there's two schools of thought in my mind for that. First of all, you should always have integrity when you're reviewing a movie. I again was reiterating about Scream before, the new Scream 6, is the movie hasn't turned me off. I don't dislike the movie. The trailer has failed to catch my attention. The trailer failed to make me feel like this is interesting. That's the trailer's fault. That's the way the trailer's cut. That's not the movie. So I'm not faulting the movie. I will judge the movie from the time I walk in, sit down and watch it, and nothing more. And the outside elements aren't going to be a part of it. Is there any biases of stuff like Hayden Panettiere? I like Hayden Panettiere. I just don't know that her character needed to be in it. So we'll see. So it might be pleasantly surprised to find out why she's in it. You never know. So I leave it open for that, and that's the way it should be. My point my very long point that I'm coming around to here is that something like Avatar, I don't think Avatar 2 or Way of the Water is a bad movie. I don't know. I haven't seen it. The trailers make it look beautiful, and it doesn't really pull me in for the story, but I didn't love the story of the first one. I was like, it's the same thing done again, which is a good story, but it's not a great story. You know, Dances with Wolves was cool. It's not a great story, you know? So, but like then I watch movies like I watched The Menu, no BS, like 5 times. Since I first saw it. I've seen that movie 5 times. I've seen The Glass Onion about 6 times. I've seen other movies last year that were on my list. Top Gun I've seen 7 or 8 times. Now I judge that based on the fact that if I can keep rewatching them, this movie did something right for me. I understand it's not the same for everything, but it did something right for me. And that's how I base it on. So like it had me in, makes me watch it over and over and over again. That's a winner. That's like a high tier winner. That's in my top 10. Everything Everywhere All at Once is my favorite movie from last year. So, and to kind of show you the flip side of this, based on me, Everything Everywhere All at Once is my favorite movie from last year. It is, without a doubt, one of the best movies ever made. It is fantastic. I've seen it once. That is a movie you should see multiple times. I've seen it once because I'm not ready to start peeling it back yet, because there's a lot of layers to go with there. And I wanted to ride the high of just really enjoying this movie. Watching it and being like, the connection, the acting, everything. The surface stuff that you see in every movie, whether you like it or hate it, love it, whatever you do, the surface stuff is what's important initially. And then you can peel back the layers and figure out the Easter eggs and all that other stuff. I'm not ready to do that because I enjoyed a really beautiful tale. And I want to kind of ride the high and have that memory for a while. So I haven't rewatched it. And to me, that says this is an amazing movie. If this movie has made me get to a point where it's like, I'm not ready to peel you apart yet, I just want to like kind of like bask in your beautiful tale, in this beautiful tale, then that says something, I think. All right, let's see. I never watched the first 2 Tron movies. I'm gonna go out and say, like, I don't know that you need to. A lot of people are really into the Tron movies, but like, I watched the first one later in life. I think it was in my 20s. And I was like, it's all right. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, but it's all right. Then I watched the second one. I was like, I like the effects in this. It's pretty good. It's not bad. But I didn't love it. So it's not one of those ones. I've watched them both once. And a lot of people say they're must watches. I don't know that they are. I don't know that I agree with that. I just did that with movies that were 1.5 hours that felt long, and some 2 to 3 hours that seemed to fly right by. The Menu I need to watch. Yes, I agree. I love The Menu. I thought it was fantastic. Phenomenal job on that movie. All around, everyone just did a wonderful job. Oh my God. So I need another host. Oh, Casey, where you at, buddy? All right. Oh, excuse me. Wake up super early for this. I love it though. Friday mornings are our mornings. All right, let's get into it. See what else is going on out there in the world of worlds. I love that Steven Spielberg and Kyo Kwan won Golden Globes same night. It's so fantastic. It's just like a lovely little story that I appreciate. And that's all I wanted to share. And then they got to see each other, and Spielberg got thanked. How does everybody feel about Taylor Swift coming to direct a movie? I'm annoyed by it. Here's why. Should she direct a movie? Sure, why not? She directed a music video. She did a good job. I'm annoyed by it because it's Taylor Swift, and everything that woman seems to touch turns to pure gold. So it's more of a pettiness on my part, because she's going to direct the movie and it's going to be great. And then it makes you wonder. It's like, well, what's going to happen here? But if she does well and she keeps going with it, good for her. What genre movie is it? Sturdy asks. Probably not horror. Probably her wheelhouse will be more romantic or drama based. I don't know. I don't know if she's having it written for her specifically. I really have no idea what the movie is about. But she is going to be directing a movie for a major studio. And I guess she got that directing bug from doing the music video. And that's great. But damn, man, come on. Like, don't you like own the world as it is? Like, do you have to take over filmmaking too? Again, pure pettiness. She can do whatever she wants, in all honesty. Okay. Oh, did anybody see Dakota Fanning made a cannibal joke at a fundraiser? Because she was presenting an award to the Call Me by My Name director, Call Me by Your Name, which starred Armie Hammer. So I guess she made like a cannibal joke. Because Armie Hammer, like, I have no idea. I have no idea. I thought this was an intimate dinner. The first presenter of the night for this festival to kick the kickoff event. A Taste of Sundance presented by IMDb Pro. I didn't realize that there was going to be so many people back at Sundance, but thank God. It feels so good to be back in a room together celebrating independent cinema. I didn't realize, So she made fun of Armie Hammer. Wasn't a great joke, but whatever. She took a stab. Ha. Because he wants to cut people. When did you guys have a wrestling pod? It was actually our second show on the channel. The Scene Snobs Podcast was the first, of course, and then so we recorded the first episode of the Scene Snobs Podcast, and then Casey and I like wrestling. We watch it and we enjoy it. And we thought it would be fun. So what we did was we were getting ready to record the second episode. And I'll give you a brief history on the Scene Snob shows and kind of where they went, where they come. Because like some have really disappeared off the face of the earth. There and some was turmoil, and there was a lot of issues throughout with our history. So the second episode that we were recording, Casey and I spent 20 minutes, the first 20 minutes, just recapping the wrestling week and just everything that was going on. And it was just one of those things like where we naturally went into it because like we were interested in whatever was happening at the time. And we looked at each other and we're like, this isn't a wrestling podcast. So, I was like, it'd be funny if we did a 20-minute wrestling podcast. So we did. We had a show and we were to record it before every Scene Snobs podcast. We record that and then we record the Scene Snobs podcast. So we could get our wrestling out of the way so it wouldn't affect the regular podcast. And we did a show called the 20-Minute Wrestling Podcast. And when Casey left initially the first time, I kept it going. So I had the Scene Snobs Podcast, 20-Minute Wrestling Podcast. Then I had Pulling Focus come up like January of 2020. And then in March, the first week of March, before like quarantining and such, I started another show called Behind the Box, which was a show about cult films, horror, sci-fi, more related in that sense. Called Behind the Box Podcast with another guy who will not be named. And that then a couple months later, the wrestling podcast sort of like went away. Like I couldn't do everything all, I had all these shows that were going on. And Behind the Box eventually. Behind the Box actually went on to add another person who will not be named because whatever reason, for reasons. And then my best friend Lenny, he joined up on the Behind the Box podcast. So we did that show until we had a falling out with two of them, and they left. Fine. We go forward, and Lenny continues on for a few months. He continued on. Lenny, of course, had cancer. He passed away in 2021. We talked about this on the show. And when he passed away, like, because by that time, when those two left, the show hit a stride that, in my opinion, wasn't there before. We did a really fun job with it. We added, Casey had already come back to the Scene Snobs podcast by that point, and he jumped on Behind the Box as well. And it was more of a, like, kind of it was more of a panel type of show than anything. It is not coming back, by the way, just in case anybody asks. It's not happening. But yeah, and by that time I had a bunch of shows. I had the showcase. We had an entire channel starting at that point. But when Lenny passed away, that show ended. I was like, I'm done. I cannot do this show without him. Like, and he, now that he's gone. So that's why that's gone. But yeah, we had a wrestling podcast as well. Long story short, by the way. Yeah, that is some of the history of the Scene Snobs. All right, let's see. It's 8:21. Let's do traffic, shall we? All right. Pull it up. Sorry, I'm getting my local conditions. So I figured we'd do Pittsburgh. Let's do Pittsburgh. Sounds good, right? Pittsburgh traffic alerts. Turnpike road work on I-76 PA Turnpike westbound between exit 201 PA 997 and exit 189 PA 75 affecting all lanes. Crash on I-78 eastbound between exit 45 Pennsylvania 863 and exits 49A Pennsylvania 100 south. There is a lane restriction. Cleared multi-vehicle crash on US 1 southbound between Township Road, Middletown, and Rock Hill Drive. All right. Road work on I-80 westbound at milepost 158. There's a lane restriction. Oof. And cleared the multi-vehicle crash on I-76 westbound. Exit 342, US 13, US 30 west has been cleared. Disabled vehicle on I-78 eastbound at milepost 65 and a half. Cleared. All right, guys. So that is your traffic report. Casey's a lot better at it than I am. Your traffic report for Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Stay safe out there if you're in Pittsburgh. Let's see what we got. I have so much respect for you, Mick, with telling the story without bashing the people you had a falling out with. A lot won't do that. And I am always interested in how and why shows started. Hey, man, well, happy to talk about it. I'm not going to bash them. I will tell you, I do not. I don't even. I've gotten to a point where I'm more hurt by it than anything, and I don't want to get into it too far. And again, I don't really want to bring them into it. But from the bashing perspective, I don't think you should bash anyone. I was really hurt by them, and whether they see it that way or not. And it felt really vindictive and hurtful at the time. And that's fine. I'm past it now. But it was things they did after they left and said after they left to other people, and kind of how that, had an effect on me because they were both from the same town and stuff. So, there's still things like I actively choose not to do within the town just to stay out of the way. So it's sort of a situation in that sense, but regardless of that, good luck to you. And I don't wish you any harm or anything like that. Lead happy lives. Didn't know the history. Wow. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's a brief history. There's so much more like the Scene Snobs. So, we put out a shirt on our merch, and like it says, the Scene Snobs established 2023. If you guys don't mind me getting into all this stuff, if you really do. And I understand it's a morning show and it's a little unorthodox because my partner's not here and it's just been like kind of craziness. But I'm happy to talk about whatever if you guys want. Like, it's not, I don't want to bring up names. I don't want to trash anybody. That's not where I want to go with this at all. But I'm happy to talk about, like, how we started, where we're from, stuff like that. But yeah, the Scene Snobs started in 2013. So the Scene Snobs podcast, of course, started in October 2019, but that's because we had another show we were doing. We've talked about Mystery Elephant. I'm sure you guys have heard that. We had that other show for that many years. We started that in August 20. I started the Scene Snobs January 1st, 2013, under the name Movies 365. But it very quickly, within a couple of months, turned into the Scene Snobs. So, like, it was the same thing. But if you go back in the Facebook page, in the pictures, and you get down to, like, movie posters, they all have written reviews on them. And that's and also on the Instagram as well. And those are the old Movies 365 ones. Let's see what everybody's saying. Honestly, could be a fun crossover show of podcasters to see why people started. Yeah, I mean, that would be and I definitely would love to incorporate that with the Snobbies, which are coming up, which we still need judges for if anybody wants to judge. The criteria email goes out today for everybody who has submitted their podcast, so be on the lookout for that. You can still submit until February 10th. February 10th is the cutoff for submissions, so please feel free. But if you want to be a judge, please let me know, and I will make you a judge. It'll be great. I get it, man. Trust me. I just don't mention people I fell out with. I don't mention them. Sorry that happened to you. Oh, I mean, don't feel bad. It's all right. And I appreciate that. Thank you, Sturd. And I appreciate it, Dale, too. Again, I don't know them anymore. This was the end of 2020. We had a falling out. And again, from mine, I felt hurt by it. And they may have felt hurt. I can't judge how they feel or what they think. And, they may have been hurt by something I did that I'm not even aware of. And for that, all right, I'm sorry. I don't know what I did, though. You have to tell me. But it was how it went down after. It was like, if you don't want to do it anymore, that's fine. No problem. But like, down the line, just don't crap talk. Like that to me, it's like, I kept my mouth shut. But I will tell you this, in like the journey through podcasting, I have met, and I'm not so, they're included in this, but this isn't really about them. I have met people who are truly supportive and amazing and have helped me build this community. And it's been wonderful to witness throughout. And it really, like, it touches my heart. Like, the amount of good people I've seen that, even if they don't want to help you, like they don't listen to your show or stuff like that, they're still supportive, like with a nice, like, hey, it's cool that you're doing that. You're doing it. Like, they're not really mean about it or crappy. But I will tell you, and it's a smaller fraction to that, but since I've started this with the podcasting, it's funny. Before 2020, I never had a problem with podcasters. I have been podcasting since 2011. So before 2020, I had 2 shows. Before 2019, when I started the Scene Snobs podcast, I had 2 shows. Before that, Scene Snobs was only a written format. And of course, I wasn't a host. I was just on it. Was Mario Likes Movies, and then I did of course, I did Off Topic Radio as a guest through Casey when he did that. He was hosting that, and then we got together with another guy and we formed Mystery Elephant. We've talked about this before, I know, and I'm just reiterating as we go on. Mystery Elephant, of course, ran for 6 years. And we were lucky. We were very lucky with it. I wish it could have gone farther and it had the ability to, but it's no exaggeration. We were seeing about 100,000 downloads. Like, we were popular. We were a popular show. And I do not attribute that to me. Like, I think we all just really worked well together. And it was fun to do. And I think you guys get a taste of that with Casey and I together, because we were also together on that show, and you could just see like we have a good chemistry. So fast forward, and then after that ended, I think Casey and I were both upset because we didn't really end it, and it was like kind of taken from us, and we wanted to join in and start doing something, do something different, do something new. And I was like, I want to take the Scene Snobs to the next step. I also want to be able to control where we go with this because I want to be able to do it. Like Casey has, I always go to him and I always ask, like, you know, regardless of whatever happened within our past, him leaving the show or not, I love doing the show with him. So, you know, when it comes down to it, it's like, you know, I think of something, I call him up. I, you know, make something, I send it to him. I'm like, just let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And even sometimes he'll be like, dude, you just make the decision. You do it. And I'm like, it's not about making a decision. I want to know what you think. I want your input because your input is vital. And it really is. Like, there's a lot of fun things like I've created, like, you know, maybe promotional card stuff like that became way more fun after he looked at it and was like, oh, it'd be fun if you did this. So like that's why it's important. Like I may do most of the day to day, but like I could not do this without him. So, and my point there being, even when he left and I was doing the show without him, God, that was it was too close back to I can't do the show without him. But when I was doing it without him, I just had to. It was one of those moments. And when he came back, it just hit stride. But through that time, especially when I was by myself doing this, it was nerve-wracking. You're like, oh man, I've never done a podcast by myself. I don't know if I have the capability of doing it. I'd like to think I did a pretty good job when I was doing it by myself. I don't know. I let everybody else be the judge. I've been told that I had some pretty good shows back then. Again, I say that wholeheartedly knowing that I do not want to do this without him. Like Casey is a component. Our friendship is a big component of this. And it's just much more enjoyable to do it with him. Speaking of not being here. No, so but I did not realize when 2020 hit, and now some of them were not pandemic podcasts that were doing this, but there were other podcasters and other outside elements that were seriously, like, it was insanity to me that they were trying to rip me and tear me down. They really were. It was, I was almost like, why? Like, what is the purpose of taking me down? And there was a lot of people who were trying to do that. And it always seemed to come in like waves. Like one person would try and do it. And then like, you know, the next, like, okay, we're going to try and take them down. And like, they're just out there lambasting me. And I'm like, I didn't even say anything. And so I adopted that philosophy a long time ago. And it definitely was reinforced during this time. Say nothing. Complain about nothing. Bitch about no one. And just keep going. Work as hard as you can at it. Push forward. And just don't let those outside elements affect what you're putting out. It affected me personally, but it didn't affect what I was putting out. I was the clear head of, I'm putting on a show. I'm not focusing on what's going on there, what people are trying to do at the moment. And again, I can get into the whole thing and I can name names and things like that. And I just don't want to, because at that point, a lot of, and also another key component to this is still be kind. I've had run-ins with almost all of these people again. And my biggest thing was, I just still want to be kind. I don't have to be friendly with them. I don't have to pat them on the back and tell them I'm doing a great job. But like, I'm still going to be kind. Like if they reach out to me or they say something to me, I'm not going to be a dick to them. You know, like I'm not going to go like, hey, how are you, pal? Like, just like, oh, okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Or, you know, okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. Whatever. Well, you know, just kind of like it doesn't need to be a terrible moment. And I think doing that or making the right decisions had helped with certain relationships in this sense, because as we grew, a lot of these other shows or people who didn't have shows, but they were outside elements trying to get in, I think did one of two things. They either completely abandoned it and were just like still continued the trash talking. 3 of them, 2 of the ex-hosts and a PR guy did that. They just kept going with it. And I until I think it died down. But I still even hear to this day certain things, or I've gotten screwed over on certain things because of one of them. Whatever. What am I going to do? Complain? So with that, I just kind of, kept going, kept my head focused, kept my eyes straight, and just kept going. And some of them have even come back and apologized. Some of them even come back and just like, hey, man, I'm sorry. And we squashed it. And it was like, it's fine. It's whatever. I'll help you however I can. Whatever. And I think that's just the key component to it. It's like, don't be a jackass. Just don't be a jackass. Like, you don't have to be a pushover, but just don't be a jackass. Because if you meet it with that, it's just going to be a problem. All right, let's see what everybody's saying right now. Sorry, guys. I know I'm going off on tangents. I get it, man. Trust me, I just don't mention I fell out. I don't mention them. Sorry that happened to you. I appreciate it, brother. Please talk about it. Perfect time since Casey can't be here. Perfect moment. No, happy to talk about it. I did have another podcast while in the beginning too. I forgot we did start a third podcast. My wife and I. We had a Marriage Like That podcast was the name of it. That was fun to do for a little while. We had a falling out. And again, I don't mind talking about these things. I'm not going to get intimate with it, but we had a falling out where we separated. We separated in 2021. 3 times we separated. It was tough. 2020 was tough on people. And I think, in our marriage, we had some strifes and we had some issues. And we had to figure things out like any good marriage does. You have to figure certain things out. And we had the podcast, and I think we were just becoming tense, and I was becoming more intent on the Scene Snobs and making it work. And everything else was kind of like noise at the time. Not family, I meant just all the other podcasts and stuff like that. Sort of like just became sort of noise until like Beyond the Box came in, and then, the channel started picking up. And then it got to a point where, of course, like she and I had our rough patch. And so we never went back to it because we had another one that we did years later. It was a video show called Married Movie Challenge, where we would pick a name out of a hat of terrible movies, sort of thing. And then we would go and we'd watch it. We'd pick our names out of a hat, and whoever's name got picked got to pick a terrible movie for us to watch. We'd watch it and review it. We did like Jaws 4, a few other ones, some crazy stuff, but that was a fun one to do. I hope she and I can redo that one. I enjoyed that. And the Marriage Like That was nice too. And of course, it's the journey, and we worked on everything. And knock on wood, we're doing much better. So, it'd be nice to kind of step back into it, maybe talk about those things as well, maybe if it helps. Okay, let's see what else is. No, please get into this. Please get into this is what I love about stuff like this. It inspires others. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to answer whatever questions, or write everything out and have Dale read it. That's true. That's where it should go. I'm gonna write my memoirs, and Dale's gonna read the book. I want to be a judge. I know, buddy. I got your email. I've got you down. But if anybody else wants to be a judge, we got you. I love you and Casey together, and how welcoming you two are with others. Yeah, I mean, we have the same philosophy on it and what we're doing. Mick, if you guys don't do a segment or something for why did you start a pod, let's set something up. I think it's an important, fun conversation. Also showing HLW. I don't know what that is. Also showing how we can talk all work together. We will be, man. We got some stuff planned. No room for that negativity. Focus inward and trying to improve your own stuff with that energy. Everyone is trying to have fun while putting work in. You see, I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm a competitive soul. Dale, exactly. I'm a competitive soul, and I think that's what worked with Casey so well. We worked at the data center together, so we built a lot of servers. And I don't care. I don't care who listens. We were the best working employees at that time together. Like we built 90% of the stuff. And we would get orders for like 200, 300, 400 servers. And all day long for the 12-hour day, he and I would be building servers, and it was just about who is going to build the most. Or if he had an off shift or something like that, I would build like, I don't know, 80 servers a day. And so he would build like 82, 83, just to kind of be on top. And then the next day I'd come in and be like, all right, I'm going to build another, I'm going to top his number. And they loved it because like the boss was sitting us watch just making servers. Like it's working. And it was pretty nice, but yeah. And but that competitive nature is in me. So if somebody's out there trying to take me out, my philosophy on it is like, don't worry about the predator. Worry about how to be ahead of the predator. And I say that as a predator prey sort of situation. Like I could sit here and I can worry about all these people who are coming after me, or I can focus, hone in, do what I need to do, get myself to the situation where they're just white noise, where their opinions and what they're saying about me mean absolutely nothing. And how does that how do I take that further? How do I go that extra route? Be kind, have integrity, don't shit talk. Don't shit talk. Like, I mean, you can vent. Anybody can vent. Like if somebody's really getting to you, you go into your own realm, or you go with the person that you trust in this world to vent to, or people. It doesn't have to be a person, or people, and vent. I remember I was venting too. I was really going at it. I was complaining about a certain situation. I got real upset about it, and I don't want to get too far into it. And again, I don't want to trash anybody. And one of my buddies, Brian from Pulling Focus Podcast and Skyline and such, he just goes, "Let it go, dude. Just let it go." And that's all it took. Like sometimes a friend needs to just say something to you, and all it takes is that moment of realization of like, why am I was like, this was a year ago. And like, yes, it did pop back up to haunt me a little bit, but he was like, it was a year ago, and he was like, just let it go. Like I'm so far past it. I'm so far removed from that life that it could affect me that I shouldn't let it affect me. And that's all I needed to say was let it go, for me to figure that out for myself. And, whereas it had popped back up. So, all right, damn, I'm going to tell a story, but I'm going to tell a story in a very respectful way. And, I'm going to be honest about it, but I would like to make a point here. A movie was made, and the name of the movie is a short film. It's called Our First Priority, and it's got a very special message to it. It's a horror thriller type film that has a very special message about how the medical industry treats not only disabled people but women as well. And that is an important message, and I do think that movies should do that. Now, this was being done by somebody who I've had transgressions with in the past, and she was directing it. And when I saw that she was doing it, I still tried to support, which I always tried to do. Even the two hosts that left, they left and started their own show, and I posted about it, and they had a couple other shows they started, and I was posting about them saying, please support them, blah, 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 and the same was with this. I was like, all right, I'm going to donate to the Indiegogo for this, because I believe in the message, and she is talented. She's it's her first foray into filmmaking from the director's chair, and I want to support that. So I donated some money to the Indiegogo, and I think it was definitely one of the things that I was supposed to be like part of the thank you credit on there, but it didn't, because the other two hosts that were working with her on the movie, they were part of that. One of them said to not accept my donation. And I found this out that, recently in the past like month or so. He had told her, do not accept this donation. He shouldn't have any part of this, blah, blah, blah. And I didn't want any part of it. I just wanted to support. Like, had you saw the money and you come and say, listen, we had a falling out. I just don't want you to be a part of my project. No problem. No problem at all. But they accepted the money and then left me off of the credit, and I got no other of the perks. Don't get mad. Don't say anything. Don't get upset. I'm only telling you this because this is what happened. And when I saw this, because they're at a film festival and I saw the film, and it's a good film. Go check it out. I do. It is a good film. You should watch it. And it's fine now. Like, just, it's fine. Do not feel like you're protecting me or anything. I was upset. I was upset because it's like, you couldn't even say like, I just like, here's your money back. And but you just kept going. So I had complained about it on a show. Again, still saying, go see the movie. I complained about what had happened because I truly do not believe that you should ever do that. I truly do not believe that you should ever in your life, if you're making a movie, don't ever short. You want to send it back. You don't want them on your movie, a credit or anything, or even just be like, hey, listen, thank you for the donation. We've had a falling out. I don't know that I want you credited. I mean, I'm willing to accept that. Fine. Not many people would, but I don't think. But regardless of all of that, my biggest issue was you did it and you didn't say anything. And I had to find out by watching the movie. And I, again, really enjoyed it. And if you see it, you should definitely check it out and show some support. They're filmmakers, and I do believe in that. And it's been forgiven at this point because I reached out and I sent a message. And I sent a message to the filmmakers, and she was one of them, and I told her how I felt. And months later, she got back to me and told me, like, at the behest of this other guy who does not like me as well, she left me off. She thought the money was given back, but she realized it wasn't. She said, we're happy to give you perks from the next tier up. So she offered things. She said, unfortunately, we can't re-edit the film because it's going out to film festivals. Understand. I told her, listen, I appreciate the message. Keep the money. Don't worry about it. Keep the perks. Good luck to you. I do. I wish them luck. I wish her luck going forward. I will say this again, if it's going to come down to that and it's going to be at the behest of somebody, you probably should not have them as any type of producer on the movie. That's just me as a former producer and a producer of the Scene Snobs and stuff like that. I'm just not a fan of that. I just don't think that's how it should be. So going forward from that sense, I feel it's squashed. I feel it's fine. Whatever. I don't care how they feel about me or any of that. So but I will say, like, go check out the movie. Our first priority. Go check it out. See what you think. It's a short film. It's got to be out there somewhere you can watch it. So when we get down to it, when we talk about like that negativity and stuff, I let it go. That was the thing where my buddy Brian was just like, just let it go, man. He's like, it's so long. Do you really want to be like held under this for so long? No, of course not. And sometimes you need that friend who you do vent to say that. You're a bigger man than me, man. Some people I'll never talk to again. Even seeing them in person, I'll walk right past them. But because certain energy I don't want to be around. There is nothing wrong with that, Sturdy. There is nothing wrong with that. And don't ever think there is. If there are people in your life that are bringing you down or setting you back in some way, walking right past them and not acknowledging them is not a blow to integrity or anything like that of that nature. It is legitimately the the best way to proceed, I think. You don't have to face, in my opinion, you don't have to face everything that comes your way. There are going to be things that come your way that you can walk around, and I think the best bet is just to walk away sometimes. It's just to be like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to focus on what I have next. So don't ever feel like if there's people that you want cut out of your life because they're draining you or whatever else, that happens. And it's okay to walk away from people. It's okay to walk away from family members that do it, let alone friends or other people. That is dope. Been meaning to tell you guys, my wife is a fan of your show, especially the spooky season. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Dale says, oof. Yeah, I mean, it was kind of tough, but it is what it is, and it's fine. My biggest thing is don't ever do that. If somebody donates, you give them the perks, or you give them their money back and say, listen, we don't want your money. We just feel it would be better or whatever. You can say it however you want, but don't ever accept it and then not follow through. That to me is a problem. And if you are going to send the money back and say we don't want it, make sure you do that. Don't just say, oh, we didn't realize that. You can't do that, because not realizing it, like if it was an intent to send it back and you didn't, and then later it comes to your attention, you really messed up. Because like even when it comes to typing in the credits, you have to be like, oh, did we give him his money back? Because he did donate, and he did donate to a tier that had this. I didn't tell you to offer the credits on most of the tiers. It wasn't like I donated $100,000 to the project. Like, like you offered it on this tier. And I also was going to try and get a DVD, from it. And so I went with that tier. I believe it was a DVD that came in, or it was something. But yeah, and again, I'm not angry about it. It doesn't bother me or anything like that. But my hair looks terrible. I'm growing my hair back. Ugh, I hate this part of it. After you start shaving it and it just starts getting long, but it's not long enough yet. It drives me crazy. It's like there's no point in getting it cut just yet. All right. We're coming up on hour number 3, and you're stuck with me. Hopefully all is well. Let me text Casey and see how's it going. If he's going to be in at all today. We're supposed to have lunch later. I don't know if we're going to still do that if he's at work. I'm pissed about that. I'm more pissed about that than him not being able to make the show. We're going to go to the greatest greasy spoon diner around us, and I was so looking forward to that. I was really looking forward to a greasy spoon food. And of course, he's not here. Damn you, Casey. Damn you. Can't believe you would do this to me. Let's see what else. If you guys have any questions or you want to talk about the past or anything, just please let me know. But other than that, got not much else. Yeah. What do you guys think about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? A lot of things are. Oh, what's up, Sturdy? Thanks for coming back, man. A lot of things seem to be really pulling together on that one. Like it's going to be huge. I feel it's going to be a really huge movie. And I mean, I know that was setting up Kang, and he's the new big bad. Like, where's it going to go? I'm excited. I really am. And I like the progression of it, because you're going from Thanos, who is like this huge power, and to say like Kang is next, and Kang is a powerful being. Kang is basically control time. With between all his variants, but yeah, I can't wait to see where they take it. It is an Ant-Man movie, though. And here's the thing about Ant-Man. I don't dislike Ant-Man by any means. I like him a lot, actually. I think he's a great character. And I like him especially when he's with the rest of the Avengers and such. But when it comes to his own movies, they've been okay. I didn't love them. They were just like, all right, this is fine. Like Paul Rudd did a good job, but like it just, I don't know. There was just something like I just didn't connect to. And yeah, I will tell you, this one I'm anxious to see kind of where it goes and where they bring him. I don't think he's going to die personally. Sorry, getting messages all over the place. I thought it was Casey. So I don't know where I'm going to take it, but I am excited to check it out and see. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Movie news. Let's see what's going out this weekend. We're going up on the third hour. All right, here we go. Alice Darling. Anna Kendrick is Alice in this taut thriller about a woman pushed to the breaking point of her psychologically abusive boyfriend, Simon. While on vacation with two close friends, Alice just rediscovers the essence of herself and gains some much-needed perspective. Slowly, she starts to fray the cords of codependency that bind her, but Simon's vengeance is as inevitable as it is shattering. And once unleashed, it tests Alice's strength, her courage, and the bonds of her deep-rooted friendships. That is out in theaters as of today. Missing, PG-13. A thrilling roller coaster mystery that makes you wonder how well you know those closest to you. When her mother, Nia Long, disappears while on vacation in Colombia with her new boyfriend, June's search for, the Storm Reed is her name. Search for answers is hindered by international red tape. Stuck thousands of miles away in Los Angeles, June creatively uses all the latest technology at her fingertips to try and find her before it's too late. But as she digs deeper, her digital sleuthing raises more questions than answers. And when June unravels secrets about her mom, she discovers that she never really knew her at all. Women Talking. A group of women in an isolated religious colony struggle to reconcile their faith with series of sexual assaults committed by the colony's men. Where we go. Alone at Night. Vicky, played by Ashley Benson, is a young woman looking for an escape after going through a harrowing breakup. After retreating to a friend's remote cabin in the woods to clear her head, she continues modeling sexy lingerie for her devoted followers on 18 and over, an adults-only live streaming website. But when the power keeps going out, Vicky discovers something terrifying waiting for her in the dark. A masked killer wielding a crowbar who's hell-bent on bringing her night to a grisly end. I love how the poster has a knife, though. Let's see what else we got going on here. Detective Knight, spelled with a K. Independence. Detective James Knight's last-minute assignment to the Independence Day shift turns into a race to stop an unbalanced ambulance EMT from imperiling the city's festivities. That stars Bruce Willis. Kids versus Aliens. That's pretty self-explanatory. What else? The Sun. I actually want to see this one. Follows a family as it falls apart and tries to come back together again. A couple of years after his parents' divorce, 17-year-old Nicholas no longer feels he can stay with his mother, Kate. He moves in with his father, Peter, and Peter's new partner, Beth, juggling work, his and Beth's new baby, and the offer of his dream job in Washington. Peter tries to care for Nicholas as he wishes his own father had cared for him. But by reaching for the past to correct mistakes, he loses sight of how to hold on to Nicholas in the present. Yeah, I want to see that. It seemed like interesting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Roman Holidays coming out for a one-day only event for Fathom Events, 70th anniversary. You can go check that out. Let's see what everybody else is going on. What's got going on? All right. What is that called? Missing? Missing is the one with Nia Long where her daughter's trying to figure out. It's like a sort of a continuation or sequel from Searching, which is the Henry Cho movie where it was all done like this remotely, and like he was trying to find his daughter, I think, in that. In this, she's trying to find her mother. So it's like a continuation off of that. So I think that's the big horror movie, that and the other one with the crowbar guy, Alone at Night. That's a limited, it says. So I don't know where it's coming. Everything else seems like it's in theaters though. I don't think we had anything new really coming out. Missing might be playing at the theater next to us. Maybe Alice Darling. I'm not sure. All right, let's see where else we're going. Oh, so it was pretty. So I love Ted Lasso. Ted Lasso is a great show, in my opinion. It's sad to know that it's coming to an end with season 3. But they've told such a fantastic tale, and I'm excited for it. And they've opened an eye on mental health, especially in sports. So it's been very cool to watch. Bill Lawrence is the showrunner on that. Bill Lawrence, who is showrunner, creator, and showrunner of Scrubs, Cougar Town, tons of other stuff. Like he's. I mean, look him up real quick because he's done some major stuff. He's got another one coming out soon. That I'm actually excited to check out. But where is it? Where is it? Oh. Cougar Town. Nah, he was a producer of Rush Hour. He's done a lot of stuff though. He produces a lot of stuff, but like creator wise, he has done like Scrubs is like probably his most famous. He did Spin City. He was an executive producer on that as well. He did Clone High. I loved that show when it was out. That was a cool show. It was an animated series where it was like cloned people from history, but in high school. It was funny. I liked it. Cougar Town was kind of a big one. Hey, he does a really good job. He has Shrinking. That's the new one he's doing with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. I'm anxious to see. That's going to be out on Apple Plus as well. So he did Ted Lasso, but he left Ted Lasso. He's still the showrunner, but I guess he was shooting Shrinking while they were putting together and filming Ted Lasso season 3. So supposedly Jason Sudeikis has been like at the helm for all of season 3. So I'm anxious to see what that will look like. If the vision is still the same, is still there. Does it stand out? How does it work? So I definitely dig it. Zendaya. Is Zendaya, what do you call it? Engaged to Tom Holland? I don't know, maybe. Let's see. I have no idea. I have not kept up on this Idaho killer thing at all. I know there's 2 college girls who got murdered by some dude. The evil looking guy. But I don't know. I got to read up on this case because I don't know. I do not know it well enough. Yeah. Hold on, let me pull this up. Oh, Jamie Lee Curtis got some backlash. What happened? Okay, so last week I posted a picture of some chairs that included a photograph on the wall by an artist that was gifted to me 20 years ago. I understand it has disturbed some people. As I have said, I am a truth teller, so here's the truth. It's a picture of a child taken by her mother of her playing in their backyard in a tub of water. Nothing more, nothing less. I took down the post because I didn't want to keep something up that would upset anyone. That's such a shame, man. Like, we've gotten to a point where like we just, I feel like we're just starting to attack people over anything. Like anything, really. Like if somebody gets offended, it sparks some outrage about anything. It's just, it gets old, man. It really does. I hate to see it. I hate how it plays out. But what are you going to do? Like it's this is kind of where we leave. It's going to even out at some point. At some point, somebody's going to be like, all right, we're done with this. We're done. We are done with everyone getting canceled over everything every time somebody's offended. At some point, somebody's going to have to realize, like, you're offended, tough. Like, that's when does it become that? And I don't want to sound like a brute or anything like that. And I definitely feel people should cope. I feel like we should be more open, especially about mental health. We should be more open about many things, especially feelings. I do feel like emotions and feelings, like the closed offness that we had for a long, long run of like, shut your mouth and just keep moving. Like, that's not bad, but you can still have feelings. It can still affect you. And you can still get offended. I think that's the biggest thing is like, okay, you're offended. Like, that sucks. Like, I've been offended more times than I care to count. But you shouldn't try and ruin people's lives over it. Like, it's assaults and things like that. Those are the things that I want the person taken down who did this. They made me a victim. Incredible bullying. That's something like that. I get that. I get that feeling. Offended, like she took a picture of her office and there was a poster that's been hanging there for 20 years and somebody got offended. Somebody somewhere got offended and it's tiring. I'm with you on that, man. I am sick of the fake outrage. I'm sick of the fake outrage and not the real outrage. Like, there's so many things like you should be outraged about. Like, we should, as a collective peoples, be completely and utterly outraged about this. And we are not. And it boggles my mind, for real. Like, it's just one of those things where it's like, nah, you just don't care. And there's some things like it keeps happening. Like, we can't even get a national vote on certain rights that come through. And you may think you know what I'm talking about, but you don't. Because I'm going one way with it. But Kevin McCarthy could run 15 times and none of us get a say. Like, at what point do I say, like, you ran like nah, dude, you ran twice. Third time's the charm. You're out. You don't get to be Speaker of the House. You were voted down. But they've made it so in such a way. And like, I use it as like, that's something to be outraged about. You're messing with our democracy. That's something to be outraged about. Not Jamie Lee Curtis having a picture on her wall and posting on Instagram. And that's not even the focal point. Yeah, that's stupid. And let's not cancel, let's correct. Also, we got to toughen up in a sense of letting too much get to us isn't healthy. You're right. That's true. I agree wholeheartedly. I do feel like you do need to deal with your emotions, though, because not letting it get to us, like, what's the level? What is the level you're saying here? Like, I do feel like everyone's different. So some things may affect people. I can't even imagine how many rape victims are out there. And watching the Harvey Weinstein case being blasted all over and everything else and appeals and all this stuff, how that affects them. Should I tell them to toughen up? No, you feel however you want to feel about it. My point isn't so much the toughening up portion. My feeling, because let me tell you somewhere, the John Wayne type of cavalier attitude isn't bringing progression in the world. There's no progressiveness in the world when you have that type of cavalier attitude. When you're like, toughen up, stiff upper lip. It's okay to be tough. It's okay to do those things. And you have to learn to cope to bring it to the point where it's like you can still get up and keep going. That's the key, is to learn to keep, get up and keep going. But I do agree that we have to stop being so sensitive over everything and being outraged over everything. It's okay to accept it, deal with your emotions, work it out however you need to work it out. But yeah, I can't get behind not feeling it, though. Not feeling, even if you are offended, it's okay to be offended. It's perfectly okay to be offended. But I think we've lost touch with the fact that, like, you don't have to tell everyone why you're offended. You don't have to try and take out the person who offended you publicly, especially. The real issues I get being outraged and stick together. We can get stuff done. Yeah, I agree. And also, if you're offended by something, talk to the person. And if you can, if it's not readily available to talk to them, talk to a friend before you talk to the internet. Before you go out on Twitter, talk to somebody. But I have seen as well, there are people I've met throughout 2020, like once the world, it was so weird because the world was closed off, but it seemed to also open up in such a big way, where I've met so many people from all over, because we've become more in tune with what's going on online. And it's been wonderful to see. My thing is, I've always had sort of I think, a good grasp on friendship, and I don't know if, like, friendship in the sense of we are, like an interpersonal friendship where you can work it out with people. I don't feel like friendships online, unless they get to a very close point where you feel like you can tell everybody everything, is going to get worked out that way, and I do see some people who maybe didn't have a ton of friends in reality off of online, that have met people that are more like-minded them. I've seen this happen. I've seen it blossom, and then they'll get offended by something they say, and really offended because they're like, it's like, I didn't even know you. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the thing. You got to know the parts of them you wanted to know because you're still disconnected. And that's where I talk about that offense, where it's like, not everyone is like you. Like, I found out, how I feel about the whole Trump regime and Trump himself and things like that. I've been honest about it. And during that time, I would get so mad. I would get so frustrated and upset with a lot of people. And listen, I had family members that were on that side. And I started thinking about it. I was like, I don't feel like talking to them anymore. They're just bad people and blah, blah. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, I gotta stop. I gotta stop thinking of everybody as bad or good and start thinking everybody is human. And everybody has different opinions. And I'm not saying that I agree or I think those opinions are always right. Just like I'm sure people are like, I don't think your opinion is always right to me. But it's definitely opened up for me a little bit more to be like, all right, I'm not going to just hate somebody because of their political affiliation. I'm going to, unless they're a politician, I hate them. I'm going to try and understand before I start judging, is what I say. That's what I tell myself. Like, let me understand what this person may be going through before I start judging. Because if I'm not willing to even understand them, then I'm not interested in even judging them. And it's open. I will tell you, it's opened my life to be a lot happier when I did that. And I'm not as easily offended anymore when I started doing that. So I think you just have to be willing to understand people and what they're going through. Why do they feel the way they feel? There are definitely things that fall outside that purview. Racism, of course, misogyny, things like really, really bad things. But even then, you meet somebody who's saying something racial, and they're doing that thing where it's like more systemic racism than it is outright, like, oh, I hate all people of this type. And you want to say, like, what made you this way? What happened that you feel? Is this your upbringing? What is this? And if you can talk to them, I think it's important. If you can change things, change mindsets and stuff like that, it would be great. But you're never going to do it by throwing shade or being mean somebody else's way. If you don't want to do it, that's okay too. Nobody says you should. But I think it really comes down to if you got to figure it out. You either got to figure it out or don't. And if you don't, just let it go. Stop being offended and trying to take everyone out. Like there's plenty of people who should be canceled, but we don't focus on them. We listen to them. That's the weirdest part. We listen to people like that, and it's crazy. Well, I mean, with stuff like that, Chair, you were just talking about. I know what you mean. I'm not talking about you, Sturdy. I'm talking about me in general. Like, I'm just talking about like my philosophy on it in general. Like, we know you hate everyone. It's okay. You can tell us. I don't think Casey's making it to this one. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just going to be me. I'm not going to do the contest today because it works better with Casey and having two people on and stuff like that. And I like doing it with them. So we will come back. So next week's prize will be these Lucha Libre Funko Pops. There's 4 of them. One of them's a keychain inside. There's some cool ones, actually. I dig it. So that we will play that next week, and the winner will go for that. Sturdy, I still have not sent out your stuff because Casey and I have to sign the picture, the Rat Pack poster. Once we sign that, he's coming over Saturday to watch the game, and then we'll sign it, and then I'll send it out. You're not wrong with that, Mick, with the Trump thing. Great example. But some I had to cut off because Trump, but more so what they were saying about the marches in 2020 and all that. I get it. And I can't even imagine from the perspective of being black in America, especially during that time. Like, I want to try and understand as best as I can, but I can't understand it on a level of a personal touch. And I can't imagine how frustrating it is. But that's the thing. That's the question you ask. From my perspective is, when that happened, I could be outraged, I could be freaking out, and I was, but I needed to ask. I needed to ask questions, especially from black people and people of color. And how do you feel? Like, what's going on? What's the outrage here? Like, and understand that as well, So I think, like what I'm trying to say with that is, it was more about trying to understand. Like, if I walk in and I try to understand those things, I'll be better off for it, and maybe I'll change some minds, or maybe somebody will change my mind on something. But if you're too closed off, and again, this goes back to what you said earlier, it's okay to walk away from people. It's okay to just be like, I don't want to understand at all. I just want to walk away. But the key is, when you walk away, don't try to dismantle the people, because then you're not walking away. Oh, did I mute this? Can you guys hear me? Hold on a second. There we go. Because then you didn't just walk away. Somebody who says I'm walking away and then goes and tells everybody that guy's a piece of crap. You didn't walk away. You inserted yourself to talking behind someone's back, to bringing them down. And I can respect somebody. If you want to bring somebody down, do it to their face. Make them realize, like, hey, I'm going to take you down. I don't like what you're doing. I'm not saying, it's very cavalier and very Old West style. It sounds Old West, but I mean, I'm going to stop you from spreading this hate. I'm going to stop you from doing this. I am actively making this choice to stop you from this. I'm not saying murder or anything like that. I'm saying, if it's a political ring, throw your hat in and run, or something like that, or speak out against, or things like that. But there's nothing wrong with standing up to somebody, and there's nothing wrong with backing down and walking away and not doing the fight. But if you don't do the fight, move on. If you choose not to do the fight, don't do this underhanded behind the back fight. Just move on. That's more where I come from on that. Cut them off because some just don't listen at all and only would listen to what they say on the news, for example. Yeah, I know. Not to the minority friends. Yeah, I know too many who are like that. Too many people who did that. But it's and it's tough. It really is. It's tough. when people are like that, especially when you care about them for so long, and now it's come to this forefront. Things have changed so much. What do you do? And I don't have the answer for that. But like I said, if you do decide to walk away, just walk away. Live your life, be happy, because you're not going to be happy if it dwells in your head. For so long, those old hosts, and from the Scene Snobs and people who like wrong me and things like that, and other podcasts and other people, they lived inside my head rent free, and they really affected me. And it got to a point where it was like, I had to rationalize with myself, what am I doing? Like, it's been a year. Like, why am I still fretting over this? And time heals and things pass and they go away. I think that's what people tend to forget about in certain situations. Like, this feels like the whole show feels like I've become pontificating about it. Crap. And it's supposed to be a comedy show, so I feel bad about that. But people seem to forget that time heals all wounds. You can be upset. You can say stupid things. You can do stupid things within the confines of like a mob mentality sort of situation, which sucks, but it is, it happens. But I don't think people, like, after transgressions or fights or anything, take time anymore to just be like, I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to heal from this and I'm going to move on. It's almost like a bad breakup or girl rejecting you or and I'm sure it goes the other way too, guy rejecting you. And it goes always actually, but like I had family members who were really upset. And not just family, I'll say friends too. And like I see people from high school post stuff and like it's funny because I see people from high school post and I'm like, why are you on my social media? I don't even think we talked in high school. But like, as you know, like we're very on here, and we've always tried to be very supportive and very caring and just there for the LGBTQ community in all forms. And like with the gender fluidity, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people get really upset about it. They get so upset, and to me, I'm telling you right now, I'm no scientist. I don't understand it. I don't understand the more than two genders, and on a scale that is, I don't understand the philosophy or science and such behind it. But I do know that people are different than me, all people, and it's not, it's not one of those things where you say, well, if they want to be that, let them be that. If they are that, if they are non-binary or so I don't want to say associate, but identify as a different gender from what they were biologically born as, it's, why does it bother me? Why would it bother me? And it doesn't, honestly. I don't care. But I asked that question of me to understand how other people may feel. Like, why does it bother so many other people? What is it about that really, like, it's just people trying to live, like, so sort of where I come from with this. And asking that question, like I talk to others and I'm just like, I get, and I'm not saying I get it. I'm not saying I understand it. I'm not saying, when I say I get it, I mean, from the religious point of view, like, basically a lot of Christianity teaches you to hate anybody who's not you, or like you, thinking like you. So it's not an excuse and it's not okay, but it is a reality and an unfortunate reality. So that's why we see a lot of that, but spanning off of that more and seeing the visceral hatred of it, of these people just trying to live their lives, how they want to live them. I don't like, more people need to ask that question. Why does this bother me? And that's the funny thing is, like, it does, never has. I never really cared. But, you remember in the 80s and 90s growing up, like, being gay, that was how bullies bullied you. They would call you gay. I can't even I can't even count how many times I was called gay in high school. Blonde hair, blue eyes, you know, a lot better looking than I am now. And that was for the time like a stigma put on homosexuality, whereas we know today, and it's always been true, homosexuals come in all shapes and sizes. And they're human beings just as anyone else is. So like putting stigmas on it like that just makes no sense. But like I remember my brothers even did, my mother even did one time, my father used to as well. Like and that's on top of being bullied at school. And I never understood it because I don't know. I didn't know any in high school. I didn't know anybody that I knew of that was gay. So it never, you know, for me, it was like, it didn't feel wrong. Like when people call me gay, like I felt like ashamed because I was getting bullied and I'm like, but I'm not. And how am I going to convince everybody that I'm not? When really in reality, I should have been saying to myself, like, what the, like now when I'm 40, you can look back and you can say, I should have told these idiots to shut up. You know, like these guys are morons and who cares? Like now go ahead and call me whatever you want. I don't care. Like I know more people from the LGBTQ community that would bend over backwards to help you than I know people from the Christian community who would. And I know a lot of people. And I mean that. I truly mean that. And that says something to me. That's your strength of character. And the strength of character is an important thing for me. And if you're willing to help people, even if they're spitting in your face, you're willing to help them when the chips are down, you're okay in my book. And it may not mean anything or whatever else, but you are. And, you know, I applaud you. And I have seen way more people from, I've seen way more people from certain communities that are often, there's a stigma that like it's not like that, and that the Christian values are where they're like that, than the Christian groups have ever shown me, or the church or anything else. I love inclusiveness. I love acceptance. It's a good feeling. It really is. It's like when people are accepting you and including you, and it's just, it's so welcoming. And I remember when I graduated high school, I never really felt like I fit in. I had my friends, of course, and I'm very lucky to have had them. And at that time, they were great friends to have. And, you know, Lenny, we talked about, you know, he was doing shows with me on the Scene Snobs till he passed away. So, you know, we were friends for like 25 years. So, and he was always sort of the same, you know, like kind of with that, you know, he never really judged anybody, you know, things like that. Like, my point here being, I found way more acceptance, like going into college, working in theater and things like that, from all different types and groups of people, than I ever did going to a Catholic school, or I ever did going to church, or ever did. And this isn't I don't want to make this a church trashing thing, but what I'm saying is that's where I found my tribe. Like even now, like your tribe is going to change throughout the years. And it's just how it is. It's like any community. Like my tribe now, the misfits, the outcasts, things like that. It's the beauty of it. That's the ones I love being around. They're just wonderful. They're just wonderful people. And now listen, I have people who still align themselves, like, because I think it's so divided right now. Everybody's just like, you're either liberal or you're conservative. I don't think that's true. I have conservative views just as much as the next guy. You know, I have liberal views. Like I'm socially everything liberal, you know. And I grew up, like I said, I grew up Catholic, and pro-life was a big thing growing up. So like I was indoctrinated in that really long, and it took years, and it took understanding and talking to people like my wife and other women and things like that about what it actually means. And I think that's where my mind changed, and I made up my mind for myself. And that's what I think my biggest message on that is. swear to God, I feel like such an idiot pontificating right now on a 3-hour show that usually covers news. Asking that question and making that a part of my priority of living is, let me try to understand this person before I judge this person. Like, let me understand where they're coming from. And that's what we've lost so far in many realms in social media. I'm not the type of guy who's like, social media is the devil. Blah, 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 blah. It's not. It's a fun way to connect. And I've met more good people on here than I've met bad people. And I've met a lot of people that, and bear with me if I'm not saying this correctly, but some would deem bad because of the way their views line up. Whereas I am like, no, I try, but I got to understand them. I got to know them better. I understand where they're coming from. And they're not bad people. They're not bad because they have certain views that line up. There are people who feel that way. There are people who storm out with Nazis and the Klan and things like that. Those are bad people. That's not an understanding I need, because you took it too far. You took it too far to a point where you were actively trying to deny rights to people. So it affects that relationship. And like I was talking to Sturdy before, walking away from them. Those are the types you walk away from. But if you can have a conversation with somebody and actually sit down and do the talk and things like that, you may come to a point, and they may come to a point where they change their mind hearing your side of it. And you're only going to get that. One of my favorite scenes, and let's pull it up. I would love to replay this for you guys if you want. There we go. All right, it's a little bit of a longer scene, but I want to talk about this because it's got a great message to it. And we can actually continue on with this. Hold on. Trust me, Mick, this conversation is amazing. I wish Casey was here for it too. I do, but I don't think we would be having this conversation if Casey was here. And that's nothing against him by any means. He's a smart dude and he can talk about all this stuff and more, probably better than I can. But if he was here, I mean, we're best friends. And when you put two best friends in a room together, it's going to be more jocular than it is going to be, let's have serious, like, tone conversation. We want to entertain. We want to make you guys laugh. And I'm happy the way this turned out. It turned into a nice little circle of people talking and having a good time. This is a scene I want to talk about.
So let me ask you a question about this brave new world of yours. When you've killed all the bad guys, and when it's all perfect and just and fair, when you have finally got it exactly the way you want it, what are you going to do with the people like you?
Yep.
The troublemakers. How are you going to protect your glorious revolution from the next one?
We'll win.
Oh, will you? Well, maybe you will win. But nobody wins for long.
True statement.
It just keeps turning. So come on. Break the cycle.
I love this.
Why are you still talking?
Because I want to get you to see, and I'm almost there.
Do you know what I see, Doctor? A box.
Jenna Coleman did fantastic.
A box with everything I need. A 50% chance.
For us too.
And we're off! Fingers on buzzers! Are you feeling lucky? Are you ready to play the game? Who's going to be quickest? Who's going to be luckiest?
This is not a game!
No, it's not a game, sweetheart, and I mean that most sincerely.
Why are you doing this?
Yes, I'd quite like to know that too. You set this up. Why?
Because it's not a game, Kate.
Oof.
This is a scale model of war. Every war ever fought right there in front of you. Because it's always the same. When you fire that first shot, no matter how right you feel, you have no idea who's going to die. You don't know whose children are going to scream and burn.
I would love
How many
to
hearts will be broken?
an episode of my favorite Doctor Who
How
movie.
many lives shattered? How much blood will spill until everybody does what they were always going to have to do from the very beginning? Sit down and talk!
Yep.
Listen to me. Listen. I just want you to think. Do you know what thinking is? It's just a fancy word for changing your mind.
I will not change my mind.
Then you will die stupid.
I love that.
Alternatively, you could step away from that box. You could walk right out of that door and you could stand your revolution down.
No. I'm not stopping this, Doctor. I started it. I will not stop it. You think they'll let me go after what I've done?
You're all the same,
Love
you
it.
screaming kids.
And this
You
is
know
a
that?
key right here. This is key.
Look at me. I'm unforgivable. Well, here's the unforeseeable. I forgive you. After all you've done, I forgive you.
Yep.
You don't understand. You will never understand.
I don't understand. Are you kidding me? Of course I understand. I mean, you call this a war, this funny little thing? This is not a war. I fought in a bigger war than you will ever know. I did worse things than you could ever imagine. And when I close my eyes,
Oof.
I hear more screams than anyone could ever be able to count. And you know what you do with all that pain? Shall I tell you where you put it? You hold it tight till it burns your hand. And you say this: no one else will ever have to live like this. No one else will ever have to feel this pain. Not on my watch.
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, watching that and I love that show, by the way. It's Doctor Who. That was Peter Capaldi era, the 13th Doctor. Sorry, 12th Doctor. Jodie Whittaker's 13th. My apologies. They do a lot of things like that where they'll do commentary on things that are happening in the world, and I've always loved it. My kids are watching it now. We just started rewatching. We're in the Tennant years, and my wife and I, who have seen the show multiple times, we're big fans. We had a Doctor Who themed wedding at her behest. She came into it off of me, and she watched Doctor Who, and she was like, "I want my wedding surrounded by it." Like the TARDIS blue. That was the color scheme, and just tons of stuff. Like there's some really cool stuff available to it. But regardless of all that, we watched this, and the movie, or the show, I should say, like it touches down on great things like that. And that's a great point to like what I'm trying to make is like, at some point, no matter how far it gets, how bloody it gets, how crazy it gets, and fighting wise, and you're always going to have to sit down and talk. You're always, to resolve anything, you're always going to have to talk about it. And you have to be open. And the forgiveness part is the part that I want. Like and none of this is based on, for me, on a moral compass of religious values or anything like that. This is how I feel about humanity, and a whole. And I've learned a lot through this process, even as I've gotten older, dealing with the people trying to take down this thing that I'm building, through the separations from my wife, through all of the things that happened and continue to happen. I have found the most powerful thing I have at my behest. And listen, I'm a guy, still got the scraped up knuckles. I've fought, I've kicked shit around. This has happened. I do not believe in violence anymore, but I've been violent, so I understand it. I sit here and I look at the stuff like that, and it's like the greatest weapon in my arsenal has always been forgiveness. 100%. And now that may sound cheesy, it may sound like crazy, but you can either sit there and you can dwell in it, or you can forgive. And forgiving and true. And there's some things you can't forgive. There's something, but you got to walk away from it. You have to forget it if you can't forgive. But if you can, forgive, and then just walk away, as you said. Like just keep it going. You know what I mean? So that was sort of my message on that. And it kind of came around. Yeah. So to answer your question, we did have a wrestling podcast. Sort of where it all came back around from. Most will never know this. Know who I don't rock with anymore. No need for me to bash others. Feels better walking away. I do the fight when I have to. And just forgive, man. Forgive in your heart for you. When you forgive somebody, you're not forgiving them for them. It will help. And even forgiving doesn't mean you have to go and be the same person you were. You don't have to go back to that person and be like, all right, I'm going to revert back to who I was when you knew me before all this happened. You're a different person. You can have space. You can walk away and be like, all right, maybe it's not the person you want to be with, but you can forgive them. Thank you for this, Mick. I didn't know I needed this today. Oh, man, I appreciate it. Being helpful. I look at it as just being human, being kind to one another. Kind is the most important thing. To one another. We don't have to like or love each other, just respect each other. And being kind doesn't mean being a pushover. Being kind doesn't mean people get to walk all over you. Being kind means that in the face of it all, you can stand your ground, but you don't have to do it in a way where you're trying to anger or elevate what's happening. You can just be kind. It's okay to not agree with people. Hey, Jackie, thank you for joining in today. Trust me, Mick, this conversation is amazing. I wish Casey. Oh, we talked about that earlier. Again, I think if he was here, we probably wouldn't be having the conversation. And again, that's because he and I would be joking and having a good time. Damn, this is powerful. I don't know it's powerful. I'm speaking. I'm just say words. I let go of hate, but I didn't forgive those people. I think you'll find once you do forgive them and truly forgive them, and again, forgiving, like those old hosts and those old shows and those things like that, like, and the crazy PR guy, like, he's a person. Like taking him, he's a person I'll never trust. I never want to be around. He threatened to murder me, my wife, and my kids. On the phone, he left me voicemails, not one, voicemails, doing that. And when it got through it, I was like, it's not going to happen. I need to calm down. I need to not just jump into anger. Here's a human being I hope never comes back into my life again. But I forgive you for what, because I knew he was going through a really rough time in his life as well. Forgive you for that, but just, I don't ever want to see you again. Like, I don't want to have anything to do with you. Yeah, I agree. Forgiveness is important for you more than them. Holy crap, that's intense. Well, that's the thing. Forgiveness is important for both. Because if you can show somebody you have the ability to forgive, they are more inclined to maybe forgive themselves. Maybe not you, but somebody else or something that, kind of forgive a situation that happened to them in their past. Like, be the change you want to see, right? That old saying. The forgiveness aspect of it is so healing for you because once you've learned to forgive, it's cake from there. It's because you are able to move on, and you also need to be able to forgive yourself for stuff. I look back at who I was as a younger guy and like the craziness, and I didn't do anything too majorly crazy or anything like that, but like I was a terrible, like, and when I say terrible, I mean, I don't think I was mean or anything, or I was never really mean to like women or anybody else. But like, I was like a grand gesture type of guy. I always wanted to like fall in love, and like I would fall in love too hard with women or that I liked or where the relationship was going, and like because rom-coms, 30 years of rom-com, not 30 years, but like 20 years of rom-coms taught me that's where you need to be. And as I get older, I'm like, yeah, no. Like when I met my wife, I was like, yeah, no. I was never in love before. I have never been in love before. When I met my wife, I was like, this is what it feels like. When I had my son, this is what love, like true, honest to goodness love feels like. And you can't explain it to anybody who hasn't felt it yet. You don't know. They don't know. And I hope they find out one day. And my personal feelings, and we can get into this different time because there's only 15 minutes left in the show. I still got to do the credits and such, but love is one of those things where it's like, you may think you know what it is. I have felt love for others. I have felt love for others, women I've dated and others on top of that, like other people on top of that. I've never been in love until I actually experienced it. And once you do, it's that true sort of love. You're like, yeah, you make the changes you need to make to be good about that. You need to, you grow off of it, and it becomes a very cool thing. The two I will never forgive, but don't hate, are the reasons my mother had nervous breakdowns. Completely understandable. And forgive, and I'm not going to tell you to forgive or don't forgive. That's up to you. You got to do it within yourself. But I'm telling you, if you can learn to forgive them, again, not forget. But if you can learn and resolve that within yourself to forgive them, I think you'll feel an enlightenment. And I'm not speaking from a Zen point. You'll feel enlightened in a big way. But you, or not, it's up to you. I'm not going to tell anybody how they should live or how they should feel. Oh, I have forgiven others plenty of times, and even myself, as you should. All right. As we go on, and I probably should stop pontificating, and Casey, I don't think is going to make the show today, because I have not heard from him at all. So maybe he's listening. If you're out there, hi, Casey. I'd like to think he puts this on and listens to me talk for 3 hours, just so while he laughs, and he's just like, haha, guy. And then goes from there. All right, let me see what's going on out in the world. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I got a question. I have a quick question as we're going on, and I just want to know, it's kind of end the show on this note. If you had the chance to get on a spaceship and go to Mars, it's a one-way trip as we know, would you go? Casey and I have talked about this. Casey would go. He said 100% he would leave. I said no. I said I enjoy where I am and I like my life how it is. The sense of adventure in that instance, like, I don't need to know that unknown. I there's too much known that I do enjoy. Now, going out on an adventure, things like that, and continuing the adventure, that's something. Like if the doctor showed up or the Enterprise showed up and was like, hey, you want to take a trip? Yeah, because I know I'll be back. I know it can be back. Or, if I don't make it, but that's a different story. But that can happen anywhere at any time. But just that one-way trip aspect to it, just because it is a finite one-way trip, I couldn't do it. Dale, I would not go. I am too terrified of the unknown. That's fair. You see, that's the thing about the unknown is I've come to adopt it. I love the unknown. I love what the unknown is. And Mars would be a beautiful unknown thing. And now if it was 10, 15 years ago, maybe I'd go. It'd be an adventure. I was at a different point in my life and I was okay to do it. But if I had to rewind 10 or 15 years and get that offer, I don't think I would do it because I know where my life led and I know how happy I am now. That being said, if I was offered today, no, I just wouldn't be interested. It just really would not be into it. It's not for me. I like where I am either. Sturdy said he wouldn't go either. I think we've grown accustomed to our lives and we like what we like. But I mean, I get where Casey's coming from and others come from when they're like, I want to go. I want to see what it's all about. They're ready to leave it all behind and try it. And that there's something commendable to that. They're willing to be out there and really give it a go. All right. We are at 9:50. I think I'm going to start ending the show. You guys have been amazing. I appreciate everybody who's just been jumping in and kind of part of it. Wise, I'm sorry we missed out. Hopefully We can get you on the show, though. I would love to have you on. I just wanted to give Casey a chance, but as you can see, I'm just going to go with you next time, buddy. Yeah, so we are going to be, what do we have going on? So we just have our new episode out, which is What Sets You Off in Movies. The Scene Snobs Podcast, that's, of course, available on our YouTube channel or on all podcast platforms. You can listen to it. That's out now. For Sunday at 8:30 p.m., of course, we have Geeked Out Live. Geek Fest is no longer a thing. Geeked Out Live. So make sure to go check that out. We're also starting to do a new thing. I started yesterday where about a half hour I played Sporkle. Yeah, I had some fun with that one. Yeah, so we played Sporkle, and I just answered some trivia questions, talked to some people, and had a good time with it. So you can go check that out, and we're going to be doing that more and more with other games, not just that. But yeah, make sure to watch it. Like I said, Geek Fest Live is on Sundays at 8:30 p.m. You pick the topic. So you get in the comments, you tell us, you ask us what you want to talk about, ask us the questions, or if there's geek topics you want us to talk about, let's do it. Remember, guys, this show is available. It's every Friday morning from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. Please join in. Usually I'm with my buddy Casey, and we have a good time. The third annual Snobby Awards is coming March 12th at 2 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be a live show celebrating independent podcasts. We have a great time with it. If you have a show and you would like to put on, submit to it, you have until February 10th to submit to thescenesnobs@gmail.com. Guys, just so you know as well, our website is down for right now. It's being worked on. It's being revamped, the whole nine. The great Visual Destiny, we're brought on to do it, and she does amazing work. So I'm so excited for this. I can't wait to see what she does. But yeah, it was time. The site just needed to be redone, and we want to add more to it. I want to be able to start writing articles again, start writing reviews as well as doing them as videos. So I would definitely love for you guys to see that when it comes to fruition. Again, let me talk a little bit about, we have some new designs on snobsmerch.com. So let me share that with you. I want to show you a little bit. A few people bought some shirts, and we truly appreciate you for that. They seem to really like the designs that we were coming up with. We're going to have a lot more fun stuff in store too. So keep that in mind. So as you guys know, we have, of course, the Embrace Absurdity, the strongest ship in the fleet. Let me explain it to you. Our famous logo, our old school logo. These idiots have a podcast. Ultimate fan experience. Get your Snobnation shirts or mugs and such. We just put our new logo on, our newest logo, which of course is the microphone. That's our big deal. We have a puzzle. I love that. And it's got Easter eggs on it too, because it's got like show logos and stuff. So it's got some cool stuff. This one is from I'm Really Wired. Is from my favorite line in a movie ever. It's from Shark Attack 3 Megalodon. You go listen to the podcast. We get in touch with it and we talk about that a lot more, so you can hear that whole story there. But once you understand what I'm Really Wired, the quote is, you will fully get that shirt, and I guarantee you're going to be in on it. We got the Marty McFly, the grandfather of rock and roll, the Tortillas shirt from Elsa from The Menu. We also have the Yes Daddy, I mean Chef shirt. We just put out the Scene Snobs Established 2023 shirt, and we have lots more stuff coming. We would love for you to go check it out. Stuff's starting to be delivered again pretty much on a regular pace, so go check that out. Let me know what you guys think. We truly appreciate you joining in on that. If you guys are also interested, join up on our Patreon. Right now we have 3 tiers available at patreon.com/thescenesnobs. But we are going to be expanding. We're going to have a 4th tier, and to kind of get into it a little bit, each tier is going to have something a little bit different. Like, we're not even a little bit different. We're going kind of whole hog on this, and we're like throwing a lot in there. And we're going to start doing our live shows, with the exception of Snobnation Morning Drive live show. Our live shows are going to go behind the Patreon. And that is, it's where it's growing. Of course, the podcasts will be available and the videos will be available afterwards, but, a little while afterwards, but they will be available live, and you can still join in the conversations there over on Patreon. So make sure to go sign up. And we will have 4 tiers available once everything is revamped. So just so you guys know. Okay. So I just want to thank our patrons now. George G3 seems a little lonely in the middle there if you guys want to join up. But Tim, Paul, Stacy, Matt, Aaron, Chris S, Chris H, George G3, Dan, John B, Ron, Jason, AJ, Dale, and John W. We appreciate you guys being a part of the Patreon. Always appreciate that support. It means the world to us, helps us keep the lights on. We're trying to revamp, trying to hire on some new people. So like that and the merch and the sponsorships have been very important to us. As you guys know, we just brought on Entertainment Earth as a new sponsor. Sorry, I can't really see it there, but yeah, it's Entertainment Earth. So there, all of our affiliate links are down below, but Entertainment Earth, if you do collectibles, go check them out. They have great stuff. I buy from there constantly, especially my Funko Pops. They have some really rare stuff, and I appreciate it. But they have really other cool stuff there as well. Go to the link down below. You get 10% off your order, and if you order any $40 or more, I think you get free shipping as well as 10% off. Guys, I really think that you would like being a part of our Snobs Nation Discord. You should go check that out. We have great conversations there. Derpy just joined yesterday, and he gave down his whole list of like what his fan casting for DC and everything going on. It was really pretty cool. It was cool to watch. So yeah, go check that out. Let's have a good time over there. Great conversations on all aspects of Geek and everything else. So make sure to hit like and subscribe here on the YouTube channel, which we really appreciate. We have great shows: Betting Bros, Smash versus Smash. We have Master Shake's moderately entertaining Mixology Minutes, which is going to be on tonight at 7 p.m. here on the Scene Snobs YouTube channel. It's a great time. He mixes some great drinks, has some great beers a part of it, tells some great stories. We love Dan. He's wonderful. And he and his brother doing Math versus Smash now with the Betting Bros. They are smart, man. They really know their stuff. And guys, make sure to follow us at the Scene Snobs pretty much everywhere. I got to change this card out, but it is at the Scene Snobs at TikTok now. I was able to get that changed out, but you can follow us everywhere. Of course, on TikTok, you can follow Casey at Casey the Madman. On Twitter, you can follow him at Twitty Night, or on Instagram, you can follow him at Plonimus21. Got to get that guy Casey the Madman on everything. I'm telling you. Come on, Case. Let's do it. No, it's good times though. I appreciate all of you for watching, chiming in with me along the way. You guys have been amazing. Let's see what you guys are saying before we leave. You said I wouldn't go. Yeah. Can Dale announce the winners on what, the Snobbies? I don't care. You can be a presenter. I'm not a presenter. We just host it. So we're gonna have a fun time with that too. The Snobbies are always a good time. We have a lot of events coming up soon, so be on the lookout for that. We're gonna do a Super Bowl event with the Betting Bros. We're gonna do a crossover event. Jason and I we have 2 very special people, and Jason and I are gonna do a Scream 6 review when that comes out. We have 2 very special people who are gonna start doing Does It Suck as well as us. And I can't wait to see that. That should be out very soon. I have a very cool interview with Jay Michaels, who's a horror guy. He writes the books and he hosts the shows on it. So make sure to check that out when it comes out. He was an awesome guest to talk to. We had a really good time. Just tons of fun stuff going on. So I appreciate you guys being a part of this, jumping in with us. I can't believe you dealt with me for 3 hours. I apologize for making you guys go through that. But you guys were troopers and you stuck it out. Thank you guys so much. I'm Mick Manhattan from the Scene Snobs. Check us out on all our shows and more. And I will talk to you guys very, very soon. Take care.